This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's the show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Oh my God, there's so many buttons to focus. I feel like I'm very quiet to me. I don't know why it is. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome. It's a couple minutes after the hour. We are live in studio. Meow, Cal, and Nance. Of course, Missy Al and myself in the chat rooms. Joining us, for those of you watching on our... Of course they are. On our live video stream. Because we're now on YouTube, buddy. We're right on YouTube. And we're fancy. We do it every week here. For those of you wondering who's sitting in Kat Carlson's chair, she is out. Well, potentially she'll be here later on this evening, but she's in a meeting for our local pride, which comes up in April. So Buddy Early has graced us with his presence and his pizza. How you doing over there, bud?
I am doing great now that I have some food in me for the first time all day.
Oh.
You can hear me fine, right?
Oh, yeah, we're good. Now, if you need
Girl
to,
gotta eat.
headphone adjustment volumes are over there if you need to.
I don't know anything about that garbage.
It's a knob.
It's a knob. You turn a knob. And if it's not loud enough for you, you'll figure it out, I'm sure. Anywho, we have managed to get it together for the second week in a row. We had some technical issues, buddy, earlier in the year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So you want to speak in the side of the mic?
Oh, that's why.
It's
okay.
look at that. So many advancements since you have been here.
I was looking for one of those Bob Barker
no.
3 feet
Right.
long.
The Gene Rayburn.
The Gene Rayburn.
Memorial.
Match Game 79.
I actually watched. I may have even taped it because I got a commercial came on and I got offended. But I watched the new Match Game with Alec Baldwin. I was lightly amused.
I was too. I thought it was fun. Yeah. Well, but to me, at least the episode that I saw, I mean, Rick Fox is so fucking gorgeous. I don't give a shit. He could just sit there. Oh my God, Rick Fox.
Okay, I haven't seen him in several years.
Vanessa Williams' ex-husband is beautiful.
I didn't know who he was, but I knew I liked him.
Yeah, he's a fine-looking man.
Figure out who the fuck he is.
Yeah, I follow him on the Twitter and the Instagrams. You got to keep up with him. You forget what a valuable tool things like that are for all kinds of.
Thankfully, we have you to remind us.
There's always something there to remind you, buddy. Oh. My God.
No, I have been a longtime fan of Rick Fox, so. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, and it was funny because I just saw a
both
commercial
as an athlete,
where he gave like a kind of dirty answer to something, and I'm like, oh, I'm intrigued. But it just happened to be on Wednesday after Blackish.
Yeah.
And I was home on Wednesday, and I didn't realize I was watching Blackish live, and then it went into the next show, and it didn't end.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, right.
I was fast forwarding through it, but I had caught up to the ending, and all of a sudden it started, and I'm like, what's going on?
What's going here? She doesn't look like Brett Summers at all.
And then the first commercial started, and I'm like, oh, God damn it. And I hit record, so I didn't. I only saw the first little part. But
you got the rest of it to
double entendre,
explore.
You know, all the things are still there.
I was furious the other night. I was watching a repeat of Law and Order SVU for probably the 10th time, and didn't realize that I was caught up, and a commercial came, and I'm like, damn it! Damn it! Why can't I fast forward?
I'm in a time machine in a land where they can't get through commercials.
I figured out that when I watched Rachel Maddow, because her first segment is usually 17 to 19 minutes, if I let her roll to the first commercial break and then I start watching, I time out at the end perfectly because then I can skip all the commercials. I mean, if I happen to be home to watch it. Usually I watch it at 11 or 12 at night. She's already been on. But it's nice when you can time that like that. But I'm so used, like you all. We're all spoiled to be able to skip the old commercials.
I don't care if I'm home at 8 o'clock and whatever is starting. I will find something to do for about 16 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Just to assure that I don't have to watch the commercials.
Exactly. I totally get you.
But then I'll pause and go to the bathroom anyways. Like, just there's something to do in that time.
Oh, yeah. There's always something to do. There's laundry. There's papers to read, bills to pay, so many different things. Yes, Marnie is on her way. She texted me 5 minutes before the top of the hour saying that she was leaving in 5, so she'll be here in about 5 at some point, I'm sure. The chat room has they're already bringing up the topic that you just cannot escape anymore.
This is why I was actually hesitant to come here.
Oh,
because I'm like,
the reason
I haven't
you're
turned
here.
on the news since election. I think I've watched about 10 minutes of CNN in the last 2 months.
The only reason you're here is for the Oscars.
And I know, and that's when I decided, I'm like, oh my God, Al and I have to discuss the Oscars.
Very important thing.
Obviously, I have to go.
Trump could do whatever he wants today.
Right, just
I'm not
don't
paying
fuck with the
attention.
Oscars. It's not going to happen. That's true. Oh, and possibly last. Well, you never know. There's just so many things. Oh, my heavens.
It
sakes.
could happen. And I did afternoon drinking today. I went
You
to
did?
yeah. I had
A support group for two other ladies and you.
Yeah,
you were
because
at Pustino.
we had to go. We had to be to work early for,
Oh, you worked earlier
learning.
today?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
for learning and teaching and showing and stuff.
Oh,
and,
my.
Wishing and hoping. And
yeah,
Praying.
Drinking.
And,
yeah, drinking and wishing, and just I was like, it's 12:30. It's noon 30. How about some lunch? And then I realized Postino has a delicious bottle of white on their menu for $5 between open and 5.
Are you trying to get Postino to send us like a case of wine?
That would be terrific because I
Yeah.
went last night, enjoyed the glass of wine so much. The first thing I thought was, fuck,
Let's continue on.
I paid full price last night. I'm going back today and getting my money back.
Oh, there you go.
So we had a little white, a little red, a little bottle of rosé.
Billy Joeling your way through
Yeah.
that
You
song.
beat me to my mouth was full of pepperoni.
So I like, because sometimes I don't agree with their wine choices,
Their
and then I have to
pairing?
go find other wine. No, they just kind of stick to for 3 or 4 months they stick to a set menu of their wines by the glass. And sometimes I don't enjoy their choices, and sometimes, like this time, I'm there every day that
I think that's
found
why
it.
I don't care for that place as much. Only primarily because I am not a whiny.
Right.
And-
So you're
and
not gonna.
that's-
No, but I am a big fan of their bruschetta.
No, it's
I'm-
delicious.
Yeah, there's not really much there I need to eat. I've found.
Bruschetta or bruschetta?
It should be bruschetta.
Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm kidding. I set you up for that.
Yeah,
Buddy
that's
Early
the,
is back on the gang here.
after I was being shitty with somebody about espresso and pronouncing that correctly. I got
Well,
bruschetta, however you say that.
You got pronunciation shamed.
Yeah, because espresso drives me fucking nuts.
Oh, I do.
well, I mean, because that's just flat out wrong. But when people are like, "Oh, the mozzarella
I like-
sticks, give me
'cause-
mozzarella sticks," and I'm
Because
like, mozzarella?
that is just flat wrong. I like how you're just.
The mozzarella.
That's very definitive. That is wrong. But anybody else's idea
No,
of
but
how to.
espresso is not even close.
I know, but just the way that you said that, it was like I felt like you were doing a press conference on Sunday about the size of an inauguration crowd. That is just it. It's espresso. Period.
Period. Yes.
There's no X, but I love. And I thought we put the issue to bed 20 years ago with Absolutely Fabulous, when the mom asked for an espresso, and she's like, "Yes, I am in a bit of a hurry." There's no X. Where did you find an X?
Well, the other ones, and it again drives me equally as crazy. When they do, especially, it's not.
Well, I could go on for days
Oh,
about
of course we can.
Pacific.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Supposedly.
Yeah, that's.
My mom says supposedly sometimes, and she knows it's wrong.
But does
it's
she just do it
it's
to
how-
goad you?
No, she knows it's wrong, but it's just how she says it because maybe she's used to saying that, or thank God she's not listening to this show.
Neither is anybody
This show,
else.
yeah.
But I think when people say things like supposedly, it's kind of a laziness, you know,
Oh, okay.
because it's
Yeah.
easier to say supposedly.
You're just kind of munching. A friend of mine used to say slippy, like the roads are slippy today.
Oh, I've
And
never heard that.
the funny thing is like when I encounter something like a floor, I still say it's slippy because I think it was so funny that she didn't know it was wrong.
So you say it kind of in a joking manner. and
Yeah.
She's like, oh,
So I'm waiting for someone to be like, that asshole thinks slippy's a word.
buddy, if you'll point your attention to one of our lovely chat rooms, see the Triweiler has
I
found
can
you.
see.
Jacob has found you.
Yes, last night apparently I was stalking him in North Phoenix. Now he's stalking me.
yeah.
And Meow Cal, you are correct. I got bored earlier today and just decided to shave everything. I do not like the way I look without facial hair, but I did it just because I was. It's bored. And it grows back in about by midnight tonight. it'll pretty much be back.
She's got 5 o'clock shadow at 9 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a problem.
I'm gonna Harvey Firestein my way through this whole thing, but no. Anywho, that's what it is. But thanks for noticing. My heavens, what else
Thanks
is
for
going on?
noticing I have a face.
Oh, it feels so weird. Yes. My heavens. I have to,
We all just take a sip of our beverage. I got a Kathy Lee and Hoda my way through this minute. Hold on.
Sure. At least we have known the Bush daughters here to help us. That's fine too. I'm okay with that. I need to check something.
I'm getting on the Bush sisters page though.
Oh yeah.
I'm starting to not like them.
What was
what I needed.
what?
That hum is gone.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was.
You were giving him a
Oh,
hummer.
I thought it was like a pitch thing, you know,
Oh.
like come on, buddy.
Do you know the words? No. There was a hum.
Acapella.
I fixed it. We're good. Everything's better now.
Is it really?
Oh, sure. Mucho
You say so.
Batero.
I'll take your word for it.
Now, buddy, you made me laugh. Was it this morning? What's today? Today? No, it's
Just pick a day.
Sunday. Monday morning I woke up. You made me laugh because I didn't realize
Just that once.
when I ran into you on Sunday evening, late Sunday evening, I didn't realize that you had posted something. We were I ran into him at Charlie's and we were talking about something, and honestly, I don't. Oh no, I do know what it was. It was the story about Maggie and Marty and Maggie Brock and Marty Manning from
Yeah.
KEZ, the whole thing. And I made a joke about oatmeal and.
But how did we talk about oatmeal and Tang?
I don't
You
know.
brought up Tang, or one of us did,
I don't. Yeah, somebody did.
and then maybe I said I have to have oatmeal every morning to be regular. I don't know.
Something like that. And anyway, we came up with the morning show Oatmeal and Tang on
I like it.
Right?
on WTLK, and it just
When it
cracked
becomes
me
an
up.
action movie, they might Kurt Russell, Sylvester Stallone, Oatmeal and Tang.
Oatmeal and Tang. Mornings. That's what I felt like we should have had, some sort of a sounder that was that.
But I feel like
Keeping
oatmeal
you
and,
regular in the morning.
I feel like oatmeal and Tang are actually like hand puppets
yeah.
that
Oh.
we
It could be.
for the radio. Hand
Yeah.
puppets for the radio. That's really.
That's almost what this show is, but almost.
Hand puppets with the radio.
It's like reading porn to the blind.
And then she lifted her hind leg. I don't have a hind leg.
Well, she lifted it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
does
my
the fun
God.
ever start?
No, never. No. About 10:30 when this is over. Pretty much. That's how we get through all of it.
I'm on glass of wine number 4,
Oh.
trying to sober up with just a handful of peanuts.
Why would you why? And you've got your little, what are those things
Oh.
called? The little
They're called
oranges, are they called halos?
Cheerio Halos, or they have another name too, like sweet cuties.
Oh,
Cuties.
yeah.
And I just want to punch people in the face when they
Slippies.
call them cuties.
They're slippies.
Oh, do I need to be using a coaster?
No.
Oh,
You can.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I mean, we are a fancy show.
Clearly.
Are you,
Here's your one
I don't-
chance.
What did I just see that in? Are you one of those coaster people?
Yeah,
It's
we must have seen the same thing because
Yeah,
it's striking me as
yeah.
familiar.
something.
Maybe it was Rogue One.
So what?
I think they
yes,
they really
it was.
coasters
There's a
was
whole
a big
scene about coasters.
Coasters
at
in
R2D2.
space.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
Whether or not he was going to use it. What's the gay bot's name? Oh, C-3PO. Is he in the?
Just because he's gold and kind of British.
And he has a really strong case of OCD. He needs to be diagnosed and treated.
Could be. Could be
That fucker's
Father Mulcahy as
uptight.
C-3PO.
Yeah. So what'd you do this week?
What have you been doing
even-
since we last saw you?
Well, because since we're both avoiding the news, what are you filling your time with?
Well, I managed to fill in Marnie and Clayton to some degree on the goings on with me, but I'm unemployed
yeah.
and looking for work. And so I've been Ubering to make some extra cash, which is what I was doing today.
oh, very good.
It's interesting. It's not something I want to do. But yeah, I'm kind of having a hard time with my job search. I have a recruiter kind of working for me, and nothing yet, but, you know.
And
So, hey!
Marnie Ryer, ladies and
double
gentlemen.
fisting it.
Really?
Speaking of
up.
puppet shows,
Yeah.
It's been your entire life with a hand up your ass.
Yeah.
There's that.
But yeah, so I've been kind
I
of
know.
taking it. It's almost like a vacation, but a vacation when you can't afford to do anything.
yeah.
Well, that's
Called
nice.
a staycation.
So, if Jacob is still listening, the reason I was up in his area last night, in his area. Why are you all up in my area?
Was it a recently
Hey!
shaved area?
I was all up in Jacob's area to see 20th Century Women last night, which was one of the last remaining, I thought, one of the last remaining movies I needed to see before the nominations, although it didn't get any. It got a screenplay nod.
Yeah.
but I saw it nonetheless, and I really enjoyed it. And we'll get it. I'm sure we'll talk much more about the nominations at some point tonight.
Coming up in an entire segment we call entertainment.
An entire segment, you say. I say 2.5 hours of
Yeah.
me and Al talking about the Oscars.
Well, if Kat shows up, we've got her segment to deal with as well.
On the Oscars?
No, just two things.
Okay.
So it's called. It's all good.
You'll hear it. You'll know.
So, anywho, are you looking for work different than your norm? What are you trying to do?
The last
You're kind of like the Chandler Bing of the group. What do you do?
right.
Oh, that's a good call. Something about editing.
You're kind of
Well,
like the
that's
Chandler Bong.
not what I had been doing for the last 5
Very
years.
important.
I mean, you know me as having been an editor and a journalist.
I thought
for
you
a
were
long
still
time.
proofing financials, though.
Yeah, but proofing is a strong word.
Okay.
Because the proofreading was part of the job description, which is how I got into it. It was a recruiter had said, "Hey, here's a job as a legal proofreader. You were an editor." I'm like, "Yeah."
That sounds perfectly legitimate.
Really, it was highly
Was there a
technical.
thesaurus involved in your job?
I was formatting giant documents. Proofreading, not so much for grammatical errors. We're not allowed to change anything without permission.
Well,
so
sure,
if
because
I
it's
saw,
math.
no, it's text and math.
Oh, okay.
It's like a lot of it could be several hundred pages
Okay.
of just garbage and then financial tables. And if I saw supposedly, I could.
Oh my God! I almost had. I was
I-
like, "Oh, that did not
I
happen.
could not.
What has happened to Buddy?"
I
You
could
missed
not
the
change
first 20
that.
minutes.
I could not change that without permission.
Sure.
So it's to say I was proofreading. I was proofreading other
You need
people's
some
work.
express consent.
I was proofreading their work on formatting the documents, and I was doing some of that
All right.
as well. So yeah, it was financial printing is what I was doing. But my background is mostly in communications, editing, copywriting, kind of thing.
Your appearance on the show, however, does not hold up your pedigree in communications well at all.
No.
Supposed.
You're supposedly pedigree. All that happy horse shit. Yes. Oh, Jacob, your secret love affair is no longer secret. Oh,
Dirty.
Was it ever?
all up in your
I'm an
area.
open book.
So, but you didn't say. Are you trying to change what you're doing? Do you care? Do you have a?
I don't. I mean, it's not like I'm coming from a field that's huge. There are a lot of opportunities. I mean, my company that I just left is one of the few companies that does that kind of work.
Okay.
And I left because I wasn't happy doing it.
Sure.
Do I want to go back into journalism per se? No. But do I want to utilize, what I consider to be my, greatest skill set in communications, written and verbal management kind of thing? Those skills are what I'm looking to utilize in whatever that may be.
Okay, so it's open.
So I'm
wide.
driving Uber.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
got
might
that
as well
right.
have a theater degree, to
And
be
now,
honest with
exactly.
It's fantastic.
The Alfred Perkins Theater Troupe is, like Cirque du Soleil, but more intimate.
You have a perfect car for Ubering too, so you could be doing. I'm sorry.
What
You're
a-
still eating.
What a beautiful moment for you to have captured on film.
And for our viewers who are watching all along.
fantastic. I like
Yes.
Now, there's a big backlash now about the lies that Uber is telling. Like, are you finding that to be true? That they're kind of people are really on them?
I've seen some of that backlash, and to me, it reminds me of. Have you seen that thing that's been going around for several years now? Probably about, oh, you want a day off, and it lists like you get all these holidays off. You get this many weeks of vacation. You take an hour a day for lunch, and by the end of the meme, it's like you only have one day, and you want that fucking day off. That's kind of like what this is that's going around. It's really stretching that math. That kind of by the end of it, it purports to say, "Oh, see, you end up owing Uber money." Not really true. I mean, you can spot where they're doing some funny things with their math in that. But does Ubering really pay off the way they say it does? Probably not.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere in the middle.
Well, somebody's making money aside from the high ups.
Yeah.
I mean, the driver. I take Uber often, and I run into several drivers who are nothing but happy with their situation.
I can't imagine why anyone who has anything other than a Prius, which is what I drive, would do it.
Right. Because
True,
the
economically.
pricing,
I have been picked up in full size Ford
Yeah.
four-door
I
trucks.
don't know why.
Yeah.
And everything from the smallest little Sentra
Yeah.
I can't prove it, but I think one guy picked me up in an 83 Yugo, but I'm not sure. But still,
Remember the Adobe of
Is it?
Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live?
the Adobe car made out of mud.
German engineering and Mexican know-how. And you get into a fender. The woman's planting, little plants in her bumper because it's made out of clay.
I
And
forgot.
I don't remember that at all.
hey, it's Adobe. It's from the sort of the late '80s.
Let's see if I can find
Nora
that.
Dunn, Jan Hooks, Phil Hartman era.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if I can find that and we can
Called
interject
the
that. into
Adobe. It was a commercial
I'll look
for.
for it. Someone
Yeah.
write that
I think it
down.
was selling for $300.
Traditional spelling.
Traditional
Yeah.
spelling.
Adobe.
Now, he told you about the time that I accidentally got high in public.
Accidentally?
Well, somebody passed me an e-cigarette that I was amazed that it had no smell.
Oh, this is a
so
recent
I
story.
took a hit off of it, not realizing he was just smoking pot in the
Oh,
patio of
oh.
a restaurant with this magic, whatever they're called, vapor cigarettes
Yeah.
that don't smell like, and you can't smell it.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the middle of a restaurant. I took a big hit just to be an asshole.
'Cause you
got
can.
so stoned, had to I Ubered there, so I had to Uber home, and I got in the back of a caravan, or I don't care how you get here, where I got to sit back.
Just get here if you can.
A Dodge, I don't care. And I sat backwards, and I think the driver was more stoned than I was.
Oh, nice.
Because as we passed the places I lived, because I was looking backwards, so it wasn't until our destination had gone by
forgot about
that I could point out. But that was the straight. Like, I was like, how can you afford
Yeah.
the gas to drive this behemoth
Yeah.
Dodge, what have you, 6 blocks? Like, nothing about this is economical. And then it was like $7 was the whole ride.
Right.
Like, I would pay a rickshaw driver
Yeah.
more money than that.
You have.
I literally have. Those poor pedicab fuckers in Boston. They see me come in with that mini refrigerator.
Oh,
Like,
jeez.
call luggage. You should really charge me for 2 people because this thing's heavy. I'm fat and that's heavy. This is not going to go
Stop
well
it.
for you.
It's Fat and Heavy
Yeah.
this fall on NBC.
Exactly.
She was 1 week from retirement.
Fat
but,
and heavy.
pulled her
Fat
back
and
in.
heavy. Exactly. With her buddy Puffy in the back as a legal secretary.
Starring Jamie Gertz. Somebody
Jamie Gertz. Wow.
Wow, that's
somebody told me, I think it was my brother, and I don't know why we were having a conversation
About
about
Jay Garrett's.
Yeah,
about
really.
the most famous or the richest women in the world or something.
Mama died.
And apparently Jamie Gertz is like practically a billionaire.
oh.
And
Oh,
obviously it's not from acting.
Talent.
I was in.
I'm just
It's
saying.
not from Square Peg.
But
No,
apparently
her residuals from Square
apparently
Peg.
she either married someone or invested in something or invented Post-its or I don't know what. But apparently she's worth like $500 million or
Oh.
something.
Oh, that I don't know.
And you mocked her.
Is she a lesbian?
Oh, I don't think she is.
Is she a lesbian?
I
What?
don't
You
think
looking
so.
at you looking at
nothing. Nothing.
trading in something?
No, I'm looking at
Oh.
my bank account.
She's one of the owners of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh wow.
Well, that doesn't
All
seem
right.
to
They
be
are
bringing that
part
much
of
money.
the are members of the investment group. I don't know.
Interesting.
Gertz and her family currently reside in an exclusive Beverly Park community and have a vacation
Hi, Mama
home
Di.
in Malibu. I'm not sure.
Yes, hi mom.
It's not listing her like the stupid money that Julia Louis Dreyfus has.
Oh.
Oh,
Right?
oh,
She's from
that whore.
money.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
And you
she
can
was
just
doing
imagine
fine.
her laughing at her cast members on Saturday Night Live. Well, they have sketches and are eating out of
Right.
a taco truck and
She can cater the whole goddamn thing.
When she's got to give blowjobs to be an extra in a sketch, but it still doesn't matter because her family's from old money and
She just
she's
wanted
living.
to give the blowjob.
She's living on the Upper East Side.
yeah.
She's moving on now.
Oh, I'm trying to find this Adobe car ad from SNL.
And a lot of times they'll keep it off YouTube now because they want you to use the SNL app. Because if
Oh, I'm
it's
gonna-
been on SNL, they
Oh, there's a
want it on
lot.
the
No,
app.
there's a ton of SNL on the YouTubes. I'm just trying to find the Adobe car. We'll keep looking. Anyway, Marn, welcome.
Hi.
Hi, over there in
How
the
you
old corner.
doing? How are you guys
Oh,
doing?
for Christ's sakes. Is Phil Hartman by any chance driving the car in the commercial?
It's
Yeah.
probably.
No, I think I found it. I think I
Well
have
done.
I have found the joy.
Bookmark that shit
Oh,
because
but
we want to watch
and
that
you
later.
are correct. It is it is on their website. A commercial advertising a low-price automobile imported from Mexico that's made entirely out of clay and is completely malleable to any of the driver's needs.
I told you.
It's a good one.
We'll get back to this. We'll have a commercial break here in just a little while.
Yeah, we got to Google and find out what year that was.
86,
If that's
Okay.
okay.
season
So that's-
12.
That might not be the Sweeneys. The Sweeney sisters must be the next year. Because that's still one of my favorite trips home. Everyone had gone to bed in the mid to late 80s. Everyone got home and went to bed. I was watching SNL, and it was the Captain Kirk. What's his name?
Yeah.
William Shatner episode, which was like one of the strongest episodes of SNL in history. And the Sweeney sisters Christmas medley is on there. And my family's trying to sleep, and I'm just screaming and laughing in the living room. I'm like, why is no one enjoying this? Absolute delight. And who are these Sweeney sisters? And how can we hire them for the party
The
tomorrow?
Sweeney sisters were, I think Richard Stevens and I used to crack up to the Sweeney sisters back in the day. And then, of course, Barbara and Celia modeled their
The Piccolo sisters.
Piccolo sisters
Oh,
after the
God.
Sweeney sisters.
And it's
funny.
Mark Shaman at the piano.
Is that right?
Yeah, every time you see it, it's Mark Shaman at the
Oh,
piano.
wow.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
that he was around. Bette Midler's regular accompanist since she and Barry aren't speaking again.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I
Again?
just-
Now?
Yeah, I just
Still?
found out. I found out that they.
Yeah, I was listening to some podcast or something that was on. And
Yeah,
it said that. I thought,
she's
what?
very heartbroken. When they did the Rosemary Clooney tribute album. No, Rosemary Clooney was first. The second one was
Not sisters.
no, what's her name? Peggy.
Peggy Lee.
The Peggy Lee album. She had heard something as they were like getting to the final production parts of it, and she just went and asked someone to tweak something for it in the final recording. Like something was off. She wanted it tweaked, and he was like so offended and blew up at her, and she was like, okay. And she put out a plea to him like, didn't mean to offend you, just heard it, didn't want to bother you. It was an easy fix, fixed it.
Oh, I had not heard.
So,
Wow.
and I
And he
guess
took
he's
it
holding, and I
personally?
guess he's holding a grudge.
Hmm.
And who knows? I mean, he's been surgically enhanced to resting bitch face. So,
It's permanent now.
Resting
is.
Jew,
It
gay bitch face. All of that.
and I
He
love
is
when he
very
tells
busy.
Clay.
He's
I
very
love when he
busy.
tells Clay Aiken that this is what you're gonna look like when you grow up. Every time he says it, it's funnier
I
and
have
funnier.
not ever
Because
heard
it's
that.
a valid fact.
Oh my God, I've
It
not ever
really
heard
Even
that.
if Clay Aiken doesn't have anything done, I think that's what's going to happen to
yeah. You are on the road to Fanalo.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
So what did you do this week? Anything?
Did the fabulous march on Saturday.
I hadn't heard anything
Well
about it.
done.
Yeah, I did.
March?
It was something. It was a little.
Just
thing.
a couple
Yeah,
people.
I
Couple
mean,
people,
had some friends
local
over.
only.
Right.
Yeah.
Had some friends over. Did that. And I feel like there's probably more, but I don't ever really remember. I got sick as a dog for the last couple of days, so today I'm
It's bounced back.
a little bit
Tuesday?
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit
Welcome
better.
back.
Thank you.
This crud
Thank you.
that everybody is just passing person to person.
I
It's
have
miserable.
felt fantastic. I have been able to. Right. That's
I have
I,
had not an issue.
when we
Nor
went
have
to
Stop it, don't
no,
cough.
No, I know that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I haven't been
That's
sick.
cheese. That's
He was-
cheese.
hocking up some pizza. It's fine.
Yeah. And just as lovely as it sounds.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure it is.
I mean, when Erin and I went up north, she was sick the whole time that we were in the little hotel room, and I thought, oh, this is not going to go well.
Not a
To
metaphor.
start the year, no.
Not a metaphor.
And I thought, well, didn't get it. Mom has been sick. I mean, just it's been fine, knock on wood, and last couple days. So I'm annoyed. I don't handle it well. Some people are okay being sick. And
I'm not.
I am. Not.
I don't get sick often. Like I said, I haven't been sick this season, and I don't think I was last year. I don't get sick very often, but when I do,
Oh.
I might.
You get the man flu.
You might as well just bury me. I mean,
Wow.
take me to the backyard because I don't want to live.
Okay.
Where's Buddy? He went to the country where
Yeah.
dogs can run.
Exactly.
Potter's
I'm the
field.
worst. Oh.
He's in the
See,
Forever Meadow.
I spend about I don't know, typically maybe a day where I'm like like you know,
Excuse
like I
me.
want. I'm sorry. Pardon me.
Pardon me.
Where I'm kind of a baby. I want like, can you get that? Whatever. And then past that, then I'm just mad. I'm annoyed that I'm sick. I can do it fine.
Yeah.
I'm very sharp, and I don't like being like that. That's
I
just
just hate that I
normally
fall-
on
that I
Monday
fall
through
asleep through
Friday. I'm
everything.
like that, but.
That's what I
Oh.
get pissed off. Like, God damn it, I was watching that,
Right.
but I don't remember what it was.
Right. So, but yeah.
But then you
it's-
think, oh, I know it's been 8 hours. Will it rewind the whole way to that what I was
right,
watching?
It will not. It will not.
It doesn't, unfortunately.
doesn't.
No.
No, I learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, just working and living
The huge.
living large.
Oh,
just
whoa.
and well. I mean, I do that well.
Fat and Heavy.
Fat
this
and Heavy.
fall
That's
on
exactly right.
NBC.
Oatmeal and tang. in
I'm
the morning.
fat. Yeah, exactly. Oatmeal and Tang in the morning, Fat and Heavy in the afternoon on the
And a
drive. The
sensible
drive
lunch.
time home. Yeah.
Sensible.
With
Your
the
drive
di-
time with Fat and Heavy.
And I'll have a Diet Coke.
Right?
That was Rosie O'Donnell's best joke. If I knew how to have a sensible dinner, would I be having this conversation with you? I always enjoyed that.
Oh, that's funny.
And we all take a drink.
Yeah, we'll do it.
That's good stuff.
If I wasn't eating every meal at Postino, would I be chatting with your ass?
Oh,
Come
that's
with bread.
funny.
I love bread.
Happens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Al, what
I
have you
had,
been?
I have one other thing.
Oh, no,
Oh.
do tell.
Just one other thing.
We're excited to hear this.
I have a new TV. Not really. A newer
Oh, no,
TV.
you don't have a new TV.
I might as well.
Oh.
Why would
Because
you
I
do
have a best brother from another mother.
Oh, there we go.
We fixed your TV.
And I left the little tiny piece. I was going to show you how to save $497.97 because the little piece.
It's a tiny little capacitor, 79 cents at.
Oh, that's what you were looking
yeah,
for the
Clayton fixed
capacitor
it.
for.
Well, yeah, but then I had another issue. I had to fix something else. But no, that was.
You've had
Multiple
you've had a
capacitors.
need for a capacitor twice in
Multiple
1 week.
capacitors.
I work in computers. I have. I
Okay.
need capacitors a lot.
I didn't even know a capacitor was something part
I've
of a
heard
computer.
of capacity, like
Yeah.
the capacity for this,
Yeah.
nah, but not a.
So it's just a-
capacitor. I don't
Well, I
know
thought
that
he was a
would say
flux
that a lot.
capacitor.
Could
No, it wasn't.
be,
We
you
were
don't
not
know.
trying to get
Yeah.
back in time.
God, I
But yeah,
wish.
so I have. Thank you again.
Oh, sure.
That
Is
was
it one of those
just-
big consoles that sits on the
No.
floor?
Yeah.
No.
With the record
We
player
all
on the
had that,
side.
yeah.
The Zenith. No.
Where eventually it goes out,
No.
or the picture goes out on that, so you put the little one on top,
Right.
and you turn
Because
the
it's
sound
still
on
a
one.
gorgeous
It's-
piece of
come on,
furniture.
Right.
You can't beat it.
The
Well,
quality
and
goes
once
in.
the sound goes out, you go get Garrett Morris. She said, you know, you got.
Well, no, but
somebody on
if the speakers ever fail on that,
Right,
because
right.
they're shitty speakers anyway,
Yeah.
you get a real sound system and hook it up to it, like Al and I both have. So you hear everything else. I never use the speakers that are on the TV.
I have like a one of those
A sound bars?
The sound
That's what
bar,
my
but
brother
I
has,
can't.
yeah.
I had to get a some other kind of cord,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just became too complicated.
It really.
Like I found the cord, I ordered the cord, like so I have everything truly just sitting right there, and I'm like, okay. Now
Oh
I
wait,
have it.
you're suffering still with the.
Yeah, I mean it's truly
This is
just
gonna be
sitting right
it's gonna
there.
be another trip to your house because there's no reason to suffer with those two little fucking
No, 'cause
speakers.
you have to sit there and seriously wonder while watching a TV show for the 90s, like I was sleeping through. Is that my phone or is that on the TV? It's everywhere. It can't be my phone. My phone's only ringing in the background. This TV's coming at me from 5 speakers.
The surround sound.
But I was
ring.
like,
Right.
because I have the old-fashioned ring on my phone.
Sure.
Because everybody had that funky one, so I was like, well, I'll know it's
Right.
mine. I don't have to go digging for my phone if that.
Sure.
Well, it turns out everything does it, and then you're watching an old TV
Yeah,
show or movie
that's
that
got
has
that.
a legitimate landline. You're like, motherfucker, now I got to get up.
Right. Damn it.
So my phone is a Joan Collins on Dynasty.
I mean, these are clearly her shoulder pads. Who knows if I'm using her phone?
Oh man.
Could be. You can't prove it.
So what you're saying is Clayton has to go out and find another capacitor?
Well,
I already did it.
I think we had but
Oh.
he
It's
he
in.
fixed
It's
it.
done.
My TV had a surge, like it just the TV, the computer, everything was plugged in, and it just. And I thought, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
Like, something's not. And my computer was fine, thank God. And then all of a sudden,
There's a shame.
I know. Well, with this one, but the Westinghouse logo just kind of
Oh,
kept coming
right.
on,
Yeah,
and I
I'm
was
familiar.
like,
Westinghouse
that's all it
logo.
was. It was just like,
I know,
well,
I'm-
I
Is that
thought,
still a thing?
oh,
No.
apparently.
Yes.
Okay.
Not
Is
anymore.
what a
'cause he
thing?
fixed it.
Westinghouse.
That's what mine is.
Okay,
My
I don't know.
my
Wow.
70 inches of Westinghouse.
I haven't gone shopping for every TV every week in a few years.
Oh,
I didn't know,
that's-
I didn't know who was still in the
It's
business.
been 3 weeks.
It
you
was
know,
on
it
clearance a
wasn't
few years
sure.
ago. I wouldn't buy another Westinghouse television.
And I don't think I would either.
No.
you said
Mine doesn't-
Samsung and
Oh no!
right?
Yeah,
Well,
Samsung.
the fact that his is literally like you're in live theater and they just act it out in your living room because the picture is so incredible.
You have,
There are
I'm
times that mine is
still
startling.
having kind of some flashbacks, if you will, about Sandra Bullock.
Oh,
and,
my
and
Gravity on my
George
TV with the
Clooney.
real 3D was
Yeah.
nauseating.
It really
It was way. There is a point where like the size of my house and the size of that TV are not compatible, and Gravity was that minute when my
Yeah.
TV started throwing satellites at me.
I'm,
It was
I
time
was
to
sitting
abort
on a
mission.
chair, and then I was not because
Yeah.
I was like, I really thought I was going to get into something. So.
That was one of the funniest things. Is all of us were like, "Ah!" I'm like,
Can you rewind that? Don't.
don't! I don't want to see that.
Don't. I
again.
don't care what
is
happened.
funny.
I'm
But
sorry
I-
you missed it, but I got hit by it.
Why do I have a lump on my head? I got hit by that. No, you fell off your chair ducking.
There was
So,
something else I watched in 3D on that, and I just took the glasses off. I'm like,
Yeah.
nope. Flip the disc over. Watch
was
the other
wild,
side. It's
yeah.
too much.
Yeah. Well, even just watching the Olympics on yours, when they were going, no 3D, no nothing.
Oh,
When they were going around, I think it was when they were in China.
When the guy from Tonga walked in.
No, not
Oh,
that.
'cause
Not,
that
the
was-
Oli-
mine is-
not those
the
Olympics.
runners always fuck me up.
It was the camera work when they were just initially
Oh, the camera
coming
is like
in.
flies
and
with
it was
them.
flying along the water and this cliff, and I'm like,
Woo, woo.
Oh, mine was
Okay,
the
it
speed
really
skaters
was.
that last time Yoko
Yeah.
Ono skated.
Yoko,
Oh
Yoko
my
Ono.
God.
Yoko Ono was at the march too. Did you see that? Yoko
It's
Ono
close.
is in a wheelchair and at the march.
Oh, she's 100.
Well, she's something. Also, I just want to point out was that you've mentioned size quite a bit, and so size does apparently matter, right?
It
I
does.
mean, everything's been about size of your TV, the size matters.
A little bit.
Ask
There
the
are times-
president.
There
Ask
are
the president.
times with
You
those
know,
little tiny hands.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's worried.
I have a story coming up later in headlines about size, not what you're thinking.
So, like, how much fighting did we do with people who now want to kill Madonna?
Oh, for real? Like what? Shut up. Just that. If you read the whole thing, or if you hear everything that she said,
Yeah,
Fuck,
they listened
fuck,
to the
fuck,
end of that
fuck, fuck.
sentence.
beep. That's all you heard. So nobody.
She
knew
really
unless
only
they were
says
there.
"fuck you" 3 times, and she says
Hey, Joey.
"fuck" one more time. Like,
Hi, Joey.
because I heard it and was not even remotely taken aback by it. I thought the Ashley Judd thing, the epic
I
poem,
thought that was fucking awesome.
it was awesome, but I could see where, all right, it's pushing a line. She's
Okay.
going somewhere.
I thought she was great.
No, I absolutely agree. Like, there
Yeah.
wasn't one part of it, but the Madonna thing I thought was so
It-
innocuous.
like kind of over. But Madonna compared to Ashley Judd, I think that the
but I thought
the personalities, like.
But I thought
you know,
I thought Ashley Judd was more thought provoking and more
Sure.
like in your face.
Absolutely.
Where Madonna just said, "If you think we're doing nothing, fuck you, fuck you, fuck
Exactly.
you," and I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, that's kind
Yeah.
of what I would say. I didn't.
And have you not just?
So
look
she
at
got
her
it
face,
out of the
not
way
seen the
right-
Ashley
right
Judd
there?
thing?
I've heard
Piece-
of
it's-
this. I don't
You haven't really
watch
been
a lot of
watching
news
a ton.
or
right,
whatever.
Right. Yeah, this was that was something where I was taken by her. I appreciated, like it was.
Yeah, it was in your face.
Really
and
intense.
So
I
I
liked
had
it.
some friends that were very, 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 very like burn all your Madonna records. Like welcome,
Sure.
welcome to 39 Germany, and we're gonna burn the books. And I was like, so I heard this,
You're right.
and you heard that.
Yeah.
That's your perception, and if Madonna needs to clear that up with you, she's gonna have to go to you because that's your perception,
Sure.
so that's your reality. I'm like, so now let's go back and talk about your
Main
boy
Street.
Right.
mocking a disabled
Right.
person.
Well, let's
So
go to
you-
Main Street.
You make no. I'm saying like
Yeah.
you specifically you make excuses for that and say that
Sure.
I'm being sensitive.
Sure.
So, but what I heard, so if you can be offended by Madonna, then guess what?
Right.
Trump's got to come back and talk to us.
Sure.
If you want Madonna to clarify what she meant,
Sure.
then I'm gonna need I need Trump to say to me what he was really doing because I watched him mock a handicapped person, and so did about 69 million other
It's
people.
an alternative fact.
And it was the first time that I think got across to these
Mm-hmm.
Trumpites of like, oh,
Oh, I get
yeah,
it.
you can't like.
But if you, what I would,
Like
and,
if
and
I
think
found it
it's a great
motivational
point.
and you found it
Sure.
offensive, you don't think he's doing
Let's flip
anything waving his hands and making that voice, and I
Right,
do.
right.
Then if you want to own that one, you got to
Sure.
own
Good
mine
call.
and
Good
understand
call.
that side. And I really think it like,
And see, you went directly to that, which oddly I didn't, which you would think that I would have, but I did not. And I went to the Main Street, the fact that he said I could go on
Oh,
to Main
and
Street
shoot
and I
somebody.
could shoot somebody.
Fifth Avenue. Go to the
Fifth
middle of Fifth
Avenue, I'm sorry.
Avenue.
I could go in the
Shoot
middle
somebody
of
and
Fifth
not
Avenue.
lose any votes.
Exactly. And so where, like, at what point is that not comparable? I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, no,
But
and it isn't. But it's that whole thing of perception is reality.
Sure.
Like if you make a joke and it hurts someone's feeling, it doesn't matter what you meant. You
You're
have
right.
to go and like
You've said
take care of
yeah.
that person. Like,
Aaron says that too. And
or if you want to sing
had
with
to
them,
learn
or
that.
if you want to write them off, then that joke worked.
yeah.
Which is usually what I
They
do.
do.
And
Yeah.
then your name is Joy Behard. You're like, fuck you. You know,
Yeah.
it was a joke. It's comedy, and who cares? And that's, each person, I would say, is right.
And I
'Cause it's
wish
what
I
you
had
need to
I had done my schedule a little bit better. I purposefully scheduled myself to make sure I was not going to be available for the weekend of the inaugural. So,
Good.
or I would have, and I've kind of burned off all my PTO.
Did any
or not PTO, but burned off all my available excuse days.
Did any of you watch the inauguration?
No,
No, I couldn't.
No.
I couldn't.
No.
No, and I love that. I mean, certainly we put it on.
But it was
SVU.
huge.
We-
How dare you?
Yeah.
And come
Jess.
on,
But in
Marnie.
fairness, I can't
We
watch.
put
You
it-
watched it,
No, I didn't.
and Al watched it, and Clayton watched it. We all
All
watched
watched it. Everyone watched it.
You did.
Biggest audience ever because all of us
Oh.
watched
You-
it.
I'm like, no,
You
but
watched
I swear to
it.
God,
I
did
couldn't
not.
even.
And
I still
you
haven't
clapped.
seen it.
When he went to the
I
CIA,
did. It was in my white sheet. I was
I
in the back.
couldn't-
I was near the memorial.
I was here, and I
the
happened to have the
monument.
channel on when he went to the CIA to talk to them, and it's pardon me, it started, and I got literally like 2 sentences in, and I'm like, I can't listen to him.
Yeah.
It was so painful, and I'm like, it'll just be recapped later, and it has been because he completely made an ass of himself there.
And brought a cheering section.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paid for.
Literally brought a.
cheering section
Brought and paid
to
for.
be in front of that
Which I'm not
wall.
entirely mad at. Because
No.
I'd like to travel with a cheering section.
Yeah.
You have us.
All right. There's not a lot of us that are going to argue with the fact that I would.
In principle.
In principle.
Like,
Oh,
yes,
I see. Yes,
Just
yes,
saying.
When I do enjoy when I'm driving my car across country to listen to live recording, so that when I'm done singing, there's applause.
Sure.
That's really fucked up and brilliant all at the same time.
Yes,
I like that. I like it.
Really.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's been
good.
it's almost as difficult to listen to the Orange Dumpster Fire talk live as it is Spicer,
Oh.
because that is just
You just can't pick one. Like they're
No.
each one.
He,
They
he should
deserve
know
each
better.
other.
He really should.
He
I
should
don't
know
know
better.
Yeah.
He
which
does
one's
know
which
better.
one's the chief pivoter in charge. Is it Kellyanne or is it Spicer? Because the two of them, I mean, they're deflecting and
Yeah.
pivoting. It's insane.
Based on that, they do need bracelets.
Yeah, but hers, what would she get to match? I mean,
Oh,
is it the white? Is it the red?
What?
Is it the
No, and somebody
what the
said it.
Fuck?
That is just proof of when you have no gay friends.
Yes, that's
Right.
exactly
No
right.
one, not
terrifying.
one queen would let that walk out the door. Even lesbians would be like,
Calm
I
down.
don't have the right glassware, but I know that out there.
Yeah, trust me.
I drove here in a Subaru, and I know that's
And
not
you,
right.
you know, now we're being told, oh, don't make fun of the way Kellyanne looks.
Why? Oh, because we're being mean?
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no.
I can't.
No.
You know what? Nobody said, "Oh, yeah, Hitler's awful," but let's not make fun of his tiny mustache. No,
Right.
everything's fair game
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
that horrible of a person.
And that Contessa, nuh-uh. Oh, we're loading up both barrels
Well,
for you.
And I was cracking up because Friday night when it was Thursday. Stop, Marnie. Just stop talking. It was I'm talking to
I've been
myself.
through both days. I don't know which one you want.
So was it Friday that you came over with the TV? Yes.
No, that was Sunday, the day of the march.
oh Lord, you were off on all counts.
Saturday was the day of the march.
Saturday.
Okay,
was
then
the
Saturday. The day of the march is when I came to your house and brought the TV back.
Ah, fuck. See, that's why I can't tell you what I did all week. Anyway, remember when I said that all that was just a bunch of white sheets. That was the KKK. How could they not know? I had not been on Facebook on anything, and
see
then
it?
when I saw the memes
Yeah.
of like all the white sheets, I just burst out laughing.
Well, mine
I'm
was
like,
when they drove by
Crazy.
the empty grandstands,
On the parade
and
route.
they're waving.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah. What
Three
the hell?
people. The three
That
people
was
were
amazing.
waving.
Yeah, but they couldn't bring them in. There was a
A
this valid-
spectrograph or something.
Yeah,
There was something right on a Star Trek.
There
Spectrograph.
there
No, I
had
mean-
to have been some really,
I
really
can't-
specific.
Spirogyra.
There was
They had a
Spyro Gyra.
alternative fact.
A delightful band.
Yeah.
So I did not march for my
Yes.
week. But I drank a couple times. What did I do?
Well, then you were.
He
You marched
slept
to
in
the
for the
bathroom.
cause.
I just slept my normal day. No, I just worked a little, drank a little. I too thought I had chosen my movies wisely for the Academy. I only have 2 movies to see.
I have 2 to see.
I
I don't think they're the same movies because I know.
Yeah, I stood there at the board the other day, looked at the movies, and thought, nope, I'm covered in every category. I can leave except for
Yeah.
animated feature and stuff like that. But, and then, fucking Loving came through. The movie I just keep missing and choosing something else.
I was really shocked because I saw it, the week it came out, and I enjoyed it, and all of the buzz was for Joel Edgerton, and then he misses out, and Ruth Negga gets in. So I was really kind of surprised. I thought she might, but I thought if she did, he would as well, and then he misses out.
And it had that Blue Valentine effect, where the Blue Valentine with
Yeah,
Ryan
Gosling,
Gosling,
Michelle
and
Williams. Yeah,
The buzz was all about the two of them, and then only she got nominated.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's true.
they can't decide if they like him or not.
I think you're right.
They kind of go back and forth because he keeps getting nominated for the wrong movies and overlooked for the right ones. But that was good. So Postino's got a good wine selection. I've been drinking myself into a new shoe size, and hoping this handful of nuts sobers me up. Probably not.
I don't have a lot of faith in those to get you sober.
That's really all that's left.
Okay. I don't have. There's a Butterfinger in there if you like.
Yeah, we might get
I
there
enjoy
soon.
those too. Yes.
And you
Nice
serve?
face, Butterfinger. Is that how that goes?
No, but
Butterfinger.
Butterface. Butter.
Wait, where are you saying her finger is right now?
Oh, nice butthole, Butterfinger. No.
You should not be a jingle writer. I'll tell you that right.
Do you need some
Great.
of
There's
this?
another career I can't move into.
Oh God, that looks like it's got everything in it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Interstate. Okay, so Joey from Canada. He's apparently watching us on some mobile device. T-Mobile
While he's driving.
giving him issues. Interstate 390 has no reception, so I can't listen. Keeps buffering.
Maybe you can catch Oatmeal and Tang there on.
Or you can catch a show from 4 years ago when we tell you to get the fuck off T-Mobile.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
It's almost
soon?
like a future cast. Anyway, well, Joey from Canada,
Is it too soon?
drive
No.
safe. Don't
Yeah.
keep your eyes on the road and keep reaching for the stars or whatever Casey Kasem
Don't
used
dig
to
up
say.
Casey Kasem.
We
His
can't.
wife will come around.
Yeah, Jane will get pissed.
Yeah, very.
Have they buried him yet?
not sure.
Wasn't there a cremation? I thought
I don't have any idea.
there was a fight. I don't. There
There
was
was
a
a
big fight,
fight.
right? I
Mhm.
don't remember exactly.
I did not see his grave in the.
Breaking news! I just got an alert on my phone. The Orange Dumpster Fire will order a
Still president.
construction of the wall on Wednesday. So
Oh, for
tomorrow, I'm
fuck's
sure that's going to
sake.
be our first thing.
What does that mean? He's going to order a construction of the what? Like, I don't. Who?
It's
I
If
don't even
nothing
know
else,
what
it
to
gets some
say.
What a
People
fucking
jobs.
moron.
I don't even know what to
You
say.
know what they should do? Take the coal miners, send them down to build the well,
You know what?
and
There
then
you
when they're
go.
done, just tear it down.
There
and
you
then
go.
pay them to tear it down.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
It'd be like the
Saving money.
the WPA. It's just
Yeah.
create jobs doing whatever.
Yeah. Well, just like the pipelines that he was signing into law. You're going to do all that today, and the people are like, he's talking about jobs. It's going to create. I think it was 1,200 long-term jobs that it would create, but like overall, they were going to be jobs for 2 years, and then it was over.
Well, this is the problem I have with this whole creating jobs thing, and it's not just with Trump. It's a lot of people, the way people think about jobs in this country. Coal miners, look, you're going to be out of a job soon because coal mining is not really going to be a thing much longer.
Well, I think you're
Kinda like- I
saying
would say,
just
like
what I've been
heat
saying.
oven.
And it's like anything that's
like
like
building
automation
furnaces
at the
in Germany.
grocery stores, whatever. You know what? Some jobs just get phased out.
Yes.
Because that's the argument I've had with people about, the self-checkout line, which I still love.
I hate. the
And
self-checkout
people are
line.
like, well, but that's taking jobs away from those people who maybe those jobs aren't needed anymore.
Yeah.
they're still needed. I'm not defending.
Not
I'm just
as
saying,
not as much. I mean,
maybe
they're-
not. I refuse to go through a self-checkout.
That's fine, but a lot of people do. So that does eliminate some checker jobs at the Fry's and Target.
If we could
and
just get them to
whatnot.
eliminate all of the nasty ones and keep the
Right.
perky
You know,
nice ones, that'd be great.
In Oregon and New Jersey, you're not allowed to pump your own gas, and a lot of people think it's ridiculous. But there's such a strong lobby up there because people are going to lose jobs if you don't have that guy there to pump your gas.
The other 48
You know what?
states haven't
I'm
had that job in
sorry.
a long time.
I'm sorry, people. That job doesn't need to be
No,
around anymore.
I agree with what
There'll
you're
be other
saying.
jobs that come around to fill that.
I
whatever.
keep using the analogy. We don't need widgets anymore, so we're gonna make something else. So people who knew how to make widgets now have to
Right.
figure out how to make something else.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts. I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying though. Jobs get phased out.
Mhm.
Like stenographers. Not really a lot of people. stenographers
Right.
anymore. I mean, they record it and then you transcribe it back, or whatever they do now. But there's not a lot of there's a lot of jobs that have just phased out from technology.
Well,
but
the Henry Ford's assembly line. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, automation.
yeah,
It happens.
and it does eliminate the need for
I mean,
people.
remember the typing pools
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the 50s?
Well, we just saw Hidden Figures
We just saw
last
Hit-
week.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Where
right. Oh, perfect example.
Perfect
One of the
example.
things I really, because I think we'll get into this later. I'm not as in love with that movie as the rest of the world, but one of the things I loved is how it demonstrated that these jobs are over.
Yeah, and you have to adapt
Yeah,
really quickly.
and you have to adapt, and they did. I thought that was really one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, me
because
too.
because I'll tell you right now, NASA doesn't give a fuck. When that computer
Right.
came in and did what it did, they got rid of everybody else.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. But they're freaking out because there's a little town somewhere because everybody. It's the way we've always done it. We've always been minors. We've always done this. We've always done that. Didn't anybody think maybe we should have 87 children to support, and they're not all going to fucking be minors? Some of them are going to branch off and go be Broadway stars or do whatever
Yeah.
the fuck else. But the ones who stayed there,
Somebody saw Billy Elliot.
that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying somebody there in the city should have realized, shit, we might want to do something different here. Maybe.
Diversify.
Right, but no,
Might be
gotta say the same.
Well, not only that, now they've got the black lung from the coal mines, and they have no health insurance to
Right.
keep it. What is that?
What is what? Trail mix.
No.
Trail mix.
So now you had pizza
This
and
is
trail mix.
ingenious. It's M&Ms and peanuts and raisins. By God.
Eat it up.
We've
I
got
just
so
took
many
that up. You said
advancements
something
here
about
at the
sobriety.
studio.
No Reese's
So
Pieces?
bright.
Okay. Whatever.
Sorry.
Oh jeez. Wow.
I'll make sure and take care of that
I'm going to
next
be
week.
critical of your trail.
You asked me what I done. Not all. I mean, I fixed a TV.
Did
I've
we
got
ask?
other things
I
to
don't
do.
know.
He did. He
Okay.
did. Listen,
I feigned
invited
interest.
guests.
Whose show is? Oh, it's yeah.
Well, clearly it's never been mine. Ever. Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, I tell you what we are going to do. We are going to play this because we need to. I want to we'll visit
Belched
this
into the microphone.
and see if we get copyright shamed for this. This is a Saturday Night Live commercial
Yes.
from 1986. And I have not previewed this, but I'm going to assume this is a good quality minute-and-a-half video. So we'll find out. We'll be right back after this. Al's going to give us our drinking word, and then headlines are coming up. It's Q Talk America.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience.
Wendy.
You're listening to Q Talk America.
And now, we dance.
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
And now, a drink along. We dare you to stay awake during this royalty-free music and to play a drinking game with us. rules. If you are currently or soon to be driving a car, you cannot play. If you are presently the primary caregiver for children and or the elderly, you may desperately want to play, but no. If you are listening from a rehab facility, you are disqualified because you already hit bottom. And that means you already won this game at least once. If playing this game is in any way illegal for you, put the bottle down and make better life choices. There is no good in your goodbye, and there is no lifeguard on duty, so you will be swimming at your own risk. Tell your lawyer to take the fucking day off. You can't sue us. We warned you. Good luck.
Well, I think we have to make our drinking word Adobe.
Adobe.
Elapsed time, 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Hey, it's Adobe. Adobe.
Sure. You
That's
could buy a cheaper car, but I wouldn't
I would recommend
That
it.
is one of those things. I mean, I've been a Saturday Night Live watcher since like 1980. One of those things I remember. Why? I don't know. It's funny, but it's not the funniest thing they've ever done. But I've always remembered that.
The Taco
Town.
Taco Town is the one
The
that
best commercial.
that does me in.
So good.
And I feel like the makers of Arrested Development watched that, and that's how they got Captain Jack's. The everything platter. It's literally everything on the menu.
Oh.
And then it says it says the price of each item a la carte. That's just the menu. But it says Captain Jack's everything platter. Don't order it. And there's like 6 people carrying it out all trays of food. And the fact that they got away with such a stupid joke for so many episodes. Don't order it.
All right, let's continue on. Ryan, you think we got this?
Adobe!
Perhaps.
Perhaps she does. Here we go. It's our headline section. Even when you thought we couldn't get any less interesting, here we are. Headlines on a Tuesday night. Oh, she was running late in a snowstorm.
We're gonna play in the uterus.
Beer bottle steals pizza.
Intersex outing.
An onion in a bag.
New breeding program.
Better late than never.
Why would Hillary wear white?
And a horse is a horse.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
These and other titillating stories. Hold on to your tits and bits. That's my new favorite phrase. I love that one. Q Talk America. Hang on. I don't know why I make myself laugh. When Alec Baldwin on SNL, when he was doing the first press conference, when he was talking about everything was going to happen out, he goes, hang on to your tits and bits. It makes me laugh every day. And I just say it to myself walking through the house, and it just makes me laugh.
I love when he says Gina.
Gina. And that's how you really say it. Gina.
Stupid ass.
And I watched the rest of that episode, and you were right. That was the weakest one all season.
Liz
Yeah.
Saturday? Yeah.
No, I did not. I haven't watched all of Aziz and Ansari,
Oh, he's funny.
but the one, the January Jones needs to just go home.
I texted my friend Steve and said anyone with the last name Jones should not host SNL anymore because January Jones from like 6 or 8 years ago was the worst until Felicity Jones just shat all over the place a couple weeks ago.
That was terrible. And she's one of those women, I hate to say it after the Women's March, I forget who she is while she's talking to me.
I don't even know who she was to begin with.
Oscar nominee for The Theory of Everything.
Again, I got nothing.
But there's that girl that's in Superman Returns, Kate someone.
Beckinsale. No?
Blanchett.
No, Bosworth.
Okay, either or. I couldn't tell them apart if they walked in the room right now.
I forget she's
Ladies
in
and
the movie.
gentlemen, Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. I forget she's in the movie while I'm watching it. Like in the middle of her sentence, I'm like, oh, wait.
Who are
Who
you?
is she?
Who are you again?
Is she a character in this?
We're sorry about that.
All right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Anyway, New Hampshire State Police said a woman accused of driving 91 miles an hour in a snowstorm said that she was late for an appointment. Very important appointment. She's on her way to get a new car stereo installed. Police say they stopped the 21-year-old Anastasia Hawking of Laconia on Interstate 93 on Wednesday. On Wednesday morning, the highway was covered with snow and slush at the time. Hawking said that she was late for the appointment. She was arrested on a reckless driving charge and is scheduled to be arraigned on March 3rd. Wow, she's going to be sitting there for a while. It wasn't immediately known if she had a lawyer, and a phone number could not be found for her in
hadn't been
local
installed yet.
records. No, well,
Was she driving an Adobe?
Adobe? I was saying, because she felt confident at 91 miles an hour.
in snow and ice, yes.
Because the mud was just absorbing it.
Sure, right. Pew, 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 pew,
I
pew.
love it.
That car absorbs. She can go horseback riding. She can go swimming. She can play tennis.
She's very busy.
You just don't
Sounds
get it
like-
near fire.
That is ceramic.
Only comes in one color.
Well, Hannah Gabby revealed.
Who?
Who?
I'm getting there.
Hannah Gabby?
Hannah Gabby
Hannah Gabby.
revealed that she is intersex.
Traditional spelling, Hannah.
That she
Is that a
intersex.
Nickelodeon character?
No, actually, it's not. It's a
No,
model.
that's Montana.
Is Nickelodeon still a
Vogue-
thing?
It is.
Nick.
A Vogue model has revealed that she is intersex, a decision that she took in order to encourage more open conversation on the subject. And
I didn't know they needed more open conversation. I thought they
did
were
not
already
know.
having it.
But they're not, though.
Oh.
It's shamed.
We are.
And it shouldn't be.
I have cable. I'm sorry.
It's, she says it's very important to me in my life right now, not to, that it's very important to me in my life right now to break the taboo. She's a Belgian model, and this is something that we have discussed on the show. And
Belgian models?
She like waffles?
Intersection was a fantastic documentary that I had watched. And we've talked about this. At this point in this day and age, it should be perfectly all right to talk about it. Almost 2% of the population is born intersex, possessing characteristics, either genital or chromosomal, which do not fit the typical definition of male or female. The condition and its results are often unwelcome surgeries. These things are rarely discussed. She says she's proud to be intersex, but very angry that the surgeries are still happening. And it really, from different stuff that I've read now, I'm just learning more about it. It's kind of terrifying. The model was born with a chromosomal intersex trait known as androgen. Is that what we decided? Androgen insensitivity syndrome, in which a woman has XY chromosomes more typically found in men. Doctors urged her parents to consent to surgery. Sorry?
It's right away. I'm just gonna, Kat Carlson on her way.
Got it. Thank you.
Keep going. Intersex away.
Doctors urged her parents, Hannah's parents, to consent to surgery to remove undescended testes, which meant I might develop cancer and I would not develop as a, quote, normal female girl. I knew at one point after surgery I could not have kids. I was not having my period. I knew something was wrong with me. It's not that big of a deal being intersex. If they were just honest from the beginning, it became a trauma because of what they did. Because parents are making these decisions,
Of course.
you know, and then later on, one story that if I understood it correctly, then the parents kind of changed their mind.
Yeah.
Right? So that's terrifying. The model is often on the catwalk. I mean, she, you know, for presentation, if you will, people seeing her, you would never think that this is someone who has had to deal with that and go through those struggles. And she definitely hasn't. So coming out was a really big thing. It's coming out similarly to a degree when you look back on the different things that gay people have when they're coming out and the kind of the backlash that can happen because of that. But now you're in fashion and you're this female model that's up there walking and so I think it's a really big deal, and I think it's I cheer to Hannah Gabby on that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I just posted a link to her
thank you.
Wikipedia page, so you can take a look.
Oh, I just had the article. I didn't
Take a look at her and kind of read her story. But she's very, very brave week. And,
very brave. Yeah.
And one of those things, a lot of information, and it was one of those topics that I definitely was not on the right side of the learning curve on that whole thing.
I hadn't been either, and I still have so much to learn about it. But
Yeah.
that documentary that I had told you all about, that intersection, God damn, was that good. It was just super eye-opening. Super eye-opening. So, anyway, I was just very impressed with.
I have nothing to offer because I don't know anything about any of that.
Yeah, especially after the
I have limited knowledge as well.
with the Women's March on Saturday and the fact that everyone was really promoting this was the Women's March, and it was, but it was
Yeah.
fighting for all.
Am I
kinds of
mistaken? Do we
things.
not have someone who's typically in the chat room who identifies?
Yeah.
Amina.
Oh, it was Amina. Got
Uh-huh.
it. I
Yeah.
knew
And
I'd
that's-
heard that somewhere before.
Yeah, that's where
And that was the
as far
first
as
I'd ever
starting.
heard it.
Yep.
And it made me go looking, and that's when I saw that documentary as well, and realized like, oh, I got nothing.
I
on
got
this
nothing on that.
Yeah. I've been trying to learn more about it so that people, if meeting people, that they don't feel, if they do talk about it, that they don't feel kind of so strange about
Would you,
reactions.
because of your line of work, is there a chance that you could come across that in because you deal with disabilities, you deal with is it learning
It's
disabilities? You
mainly
deal with
developmental disabilities.
developmental. Now, I am not I'm not trying to categorize anybody, but could there, let's say a parent who doesn't understand what's going on with their child, and I do understand that sometimes parents who have kids shouldn't, because maybe they're not the sharpest tool in the shed to begin with. But if they don't understand, or if they believe something is wrong with their child that is completely, the child, could they have potentially thought maybe that there was some sort of a developmental issue and come to you with that, and you have to figure this out, or no? Is that not something that would
Do
fall
you
in
mean
your
something
wheelhouse?
along this line?
Yeah.
If it went along with another diagnosed developmental disability, like
Okay.
if there were something that, I'm sorry, Al,
I did
a child was born, because it's not as though this only would happen to folks that do not have a developmental disability, right? I mean, so if you have a family member that is born with Down syndrome,
Right.
and they're also intersex, I would hazard to say that they probably wouldn't do anything about it. Actually, comparatively speaking.
I think we've just evolved to the point that I think like 30, 40 years ago, anything
Right.
that was abnormal was just
Right.
labeled needed to go to a special school.
Right.
You
Well,
don't
you had to
need-
go to absolutely. It was, you're going to go to that
there
institution.
were things that were just put into that category of, something's
Right.
just,
Yep.
there's something about Amelia.
Yeah. Oh.
I can quote a Danson title.
Well, and when the Willowbrook was in upstate New York, and it was something that it was an institution that housed like 3,000 people that had developmental disabilities, except they didn't. Like, it wasn't just misdiagnosed people that were in with folks that were severely diagnosis of MR with what we'll say today as a cognitive disability, that were in there with people that had very intense mental disabilities.
Right. It was on Staten Island.
Yes, and it was a nightmare. Because
It was literally a snake pit.
It really was. The one flew over the cuckoo's nest. The people have seen different videos, and
Senator Robert Kennedy called it a snake pit.
oh, absolutely,
Closed in
absolutely.
1987.
Yep, finally. But in 1973, that's when Geraldo kind of made his Geraldo Rivera made his mark known, if you will, and it was by going in there and doing the expose on it.
That's how I heard of it.
And it really was something where, people were naked. People were just with their own, like nobody's cleaning them. Nobody's doing anything. They're just medicating the hell out of people. And it could be, truthfully, where people don't, it could be someone had glasses.
Yeah.
It could be like, there's something happening here. You have glasses. You have a limp. You have
Where they would put dyslexics.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So someone with dyslexia perhaps would be on the same ward as somebody else who had Down syndrome, or who had, who had Down syndrome and had different needs, or actually had, very, very intense different needs, and they were just medicated because they were able to.
Right.
And they were able to say, here, take this pill. Let's see what that does to this person.
Right. And like you were saying with the parents, I think that would be more like direct those parents to like a support group of other parents and find out like
Right. I wouldn't.
what
be
do you
helping
really
them.
want to do about, you know what I mean? Like, you think this is some kind of disability.
Right.
Here's some other people. Talk to them. Find out what is really going on with your child. And I think that's where education. The child's going to be fine. The parents got to get their shit
Right, and
together.
more often
That's
than
absolutely
not,
right.
I think that's the thing. The child
Yeah.
who despite what their disability is or ability, depending on how you look at it, the child is going to work through whatever because they know no different. Like that's just how my body works. That's how I'm going to get. It's the parents who lose their mind over things and need the counseling
Right.
because my child's not like everybody else's child, or my child is able differently.
Well,
and
the
they're-
same
like
thing
you
about
said,
sexual orientation. When parents react negatively to a child who comes out as gay, it's not about the child as much as it is.
No, not at
what
all.
are people going to think about me?
Right.
What
Right.
are my
Right.
friends going to?
what will the neighbors
I
think?
don't want my
How
friends
will
to
I?
know this that
Right.
I have a gay son or daughter.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and,
don't
and
know.
if you have someone who is intersex, you have now I have someone who is gay, and there are so many things happening, right? I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
for how they're going to be affected. And you know, when Anant in the chat room is making a really super valid point about being eye-opening that differently abled people have sexual needs
Yeah.
as well. And no one. I always tell Anant. I always tell people when they say, "Well, they're not like normal kids." Like nobody is normal. Go ahead and look around. You know, go ahead.
Yeah.
And look around.
Right.
Nobody's normal. But when that idea of sex and people thinking they'll come to talk to me and say, well, they're 14 and they're absolutely acting erratically. And they, you know,
called 14.
it's called 14.
Yeah.
Right, because they're they're looking at it like, because people will say, but they act like they're 4. God, I want to punch people in the throat, but it really is like to give kind of a
But their bodies are still going through
but
puberty
their
and
bodies are
experiencing all
14
that thing.
and
Yeah.
or
Right.
they're 35 or they're whatever it is, and you know, to think that those urges.
Yeah.
We've had people come. Well, they were masturbating. They were, you know, and I'm like,
And so were you
Right?
probably about
Right.
6 hours ago, and
Right.
you know, in a
and they think, oh my God, what? Well, why are they doing that? Well, just because you have Down syndrome doesn't mean that you don't have any kind of urges.
Right.
and you're not going to figure that shit out too.
Right.
Everybody
right.
invents sex for themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I enjoy
that's
a cool
it's
breeze.
A really great point. Yeah.
A dryer sheet put on the right place.
Oh my God. It's downy soft. Oh, now it's downy hard. Look at that. Very different.
Well, but so, Nan, I don't know, and I don't want to go, and I apologize, Clayton, I don't want to go off too much on this, but everybody gets
aroused by
differently.
something differently. Yeah.
I mean, there
Oh,
are
by all means.
there are so many different, when you think fetishes or different.
It could be a touch. It could be
So many.
audio. It could be a scent. There's so many
Absolutely.
different things.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So, truthfully,
A
there
horse
is
race.
absolutely nothing different.
Linda Eder performance. You
there-
never know what's going to put wind in the sails.
There's absolutely
Pepperoni
nothing
pizza.
different between
flooded.
someone with any kind of a developmental issue and us, because there is no us them, right? I mean, like it's a matter of separating that.
Everybody poops.
When everybody poops, and everybody just has different needs, and different people need different kinds of help with different things.
But you find out as everyone reaches a certain age that everyone has just a
That's
profound need to
exactly
be
right.
touched, to be
That's
hugged,
correct.
to have it like physical contact. Like
Right.
it doesn't matter what's
I'm
going
thinking of
on
that
anywhere.
final scene in Moonlight when he utters that line that just devastates
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Oh my God!
Ah.
I'm hoping that time for me comes sometime in 2017.
Yeah.
I've been waiting.
I recommend Hawaii.
Oh,
there you go.
well.
Seems to happen there.
I have to make a trip to the.
Sorry to go off on that.
Is that
so
where you go
much,
over and you
but
play
yeah.
Magnum PI?
Yeah.
What are you doing there?
Who's playing the part
I'm
of
going to
Rick?
drive a Lamborghini around the island and you chase me. All right.
Ooh, I like it.
Metaphoric, but I'm not running.
Oh, God. I
call.
understand.
Fair enough. Mr. McKee.
Well, a man in South Wales was caught on camera stealing 2 pizzas while dressed as a beer bottle, and here is security camera footage showing said man.
It was a Heineken. I don't know.
The saucy surveillance pic was taken New Year's Day at a Papa John's Pizza in Barrie, South Wales. The unidentified pizza thief entered a staff area only a staff-only area, grabbed 2 pies and left without paying, according to the Barrie and District News. Luckily, it doesn't look like he took any dough. I don't write these people. I just steal them from the internet. By the way, here's a little shot up. Look, he looks happy. Look at him. God damn. It might seem easy to track down a giant Heineken bottle, but like a beer that's been open for 6 hours, the search seems to have gone a little flat. Authorities are hoping to nab the giant Heineken right in the bud, but releasing a photo of the pizza thief is all that they've done so far. We all know a few beers often leads to a takeaway, but this brazen beverage seems to have forgotten to pay for his food, a spokesman for the South Wales Police Department said. Anyone who might know the identity of the pie-eyed robber is asked to contact the South Wales Police by dialing 101, an emergency number only good in the United Kingdom. So if you're listening to this somewhere else,
and you think you spotted this guy,
right? So if you live in the UK, dial 101 and tell him that you've spotted a tall man in a Heineken bottle. He probably doesn't have the pizza anymore.
and really,
but
Papa John's. That's where you went.
really, that's where you went. Sure,
Your first time at espionage, Papa John's.
Papa John's.
Well, there is a new breeding program.
Thank God.
You looked right at me. God, do I have to participate?
It's aimed at keeping moderate Republicans from going extinct.
Oh, well.
Saying the now critically endangered species of politician is at a high risk.
This has got to be an Onion story. I pray to God this is an Onion story.
Well, you never know anymore. You just alternative
alternative
facts.
facts.
It's all alternative facts.
Bitch.
Politicians is at high risk for complete extinction within the next 10 years. Beltway area conservationists announced plans Monday for a new captive breeding program designed to save moderate Republicans. According to members of the Initiative to Protect the Polite Middle, centrist Republicans who once freely roamed the nation, calling for both economic deregulation and a return to Reagan-era tax rates on the wealthy, are in dire need of protection, having lost large portions of their natural terrain to the highly territorial evangelical and Tea Party breeds. Oh, that's nice. I
can't find it.
In the center square, Cat Carlson.
Usually reserved for gay gentlemen.
Paul Linda Block.
Well, pretty close.
Justin Bieber to Block over there. Can I get that?
I have to sit here from now on. Are you permanently back?
No, just
What the
tonight.
fuck?
No, he'll get a job and then he'll leave us. But it was
He's
convenient.
going to Uber you home, though.
Stay unemployed.
Tonight you had a meeting and Buddy had free time.
It's legit.
Yeah.
Legit. Were you reading something? What's
Yeah.
something
No,
going
I'm
on?
doing that important.
Headlines. You may be familiar with the
It
routine
was
of
something
this.
about area man breeding. Something, I don't know.
And
I did hear something about breeding. That was nice.
No, I want to hear. So how do you breed them?
Who knows? Who knows?
Well, I'm assuming you do.
Wait a minute.
I know.
The boy part goes into the girl
when
part.
two Republicans love each other very much.
And they're very, very nice.
They hire a hooker.
And he pees on
and
them.
he pees on him in Russia.
And that's why they're going to be extinct.
No, I'm actually sorry.
Where did you?
Oh, it's fine.
When a Republican was asked, "Where did you last have sex?" In the butt, Bob.
In the butt. Abortions are illegal. In the butt, Bob.
What are we drinking, Cat?
Cat Carlson.
Ann B. Davis, what are you enjoying?
This is a local
Jim J.
brew.
Bullock.
This is a local brew straight out of
Compton?
Lake Havasu City.
Oh.
Yeah, the College Street Brewery there produces a wheat beer that I greatly enjoy called Big Blue Van. Would you like one?
Would you
Down
have
by the
extra?
I have plenty. Yes,
I
yes.
would like one.
You
Oh,
can have
and
that one.
in a glass as well.
'cause
We are
We
fancy.
are. What are we, the Rockefellers?
Pinkies up, girls. Pinkies up. Let me go get another glass.
Thank you.
Pinky, your pinky
You could
ring to
spend
the
more
moon.
than $179, but I wouldn't.
That's actually
You
good.
could get a cheaper car, but I.
It's got a blueberry taste to it.
Well,
Ew.
see, look, we've.
Oh, well, I hope it didn't taste like Van.
All right.
Ooh, that is a good call.
What are you, size 11?
It tastes like a Volkswagen van. Can you describe that? No, I cannot.
I'd rather not. I'm not a mechanic.
Very good.
I enjoy this one because the blueberry's not like overwhelming. Like there's
She
It's
said
another
snot. She said
snot.
blueberry snot.
Blueberry snot.
snot good.
Snot good.
All right, continue with them breeding.
I think that
like
was
that
it.
story.
Okay.
That's fine.
Well, if it's
Moving on.
in fairness, none of the rest of us really liked it either. So
Adobe!
Yeah, there's no shock
She
there.
cried from under a pile of mud.
there we go. Well, I know Kat Carlson will be on board with this, and I've already subscribed, so I'm sure Kat will do it as soon as she can find a device that will permit her to do it.
Oh my goodness.
A piece of produce in a bag might hit President Donald Trump right where it hurts the most
Onion in a bag.
by literally upstaging him on Twitter. A new Twitter account called @halfonion-in-a-bag features a photo of a yellow onion cut in half in a plastic bag. I'm going to show you what this looks like. You may be familiar what an onion in a bag looks like, but boom, there it is. The goal is simple, just to get more followers for this fucking onion than for dumbass.
I'm in. Hold on.
Yeah. According to this, he has 21.8 million followers. And at this point, there's just a little over 216,000. Well, actually, I didn't even look. As
there
of
are 351,000
okay,
followers
351,000. And now 351,001 because Kat will follow it. I followed it.
I just did.
So I immediately did this. Mashable points out that there is this half onion can continue to attract followers at its current rate. It could tie Trump by April of this year. Besides attempting to beat Trump on his favorite social media platform, the half onion in a bag is gleefully trolling the notoriously thin-skinned leader of the free world. The unidentified human behind the Twitter account is letting the onion do the talking for now, but did tell CNET.com the goal is to add a new flavor to the current political climate. Quote, I want to make some noise and make some people laugh in the process because I think we're going to all need a good dose of humor to get through this. For heaven's sakes. Well, now, some of the people have been tweeting pictures, and here's the onion, and the caption says, I have a better cabinet than Trump does.
All right, I'm a follower.
So follow. Once again, it's what...
Adobe! I found a new hero.
So again, if you do to Twitter, half onion in a bag, you can also follow it and hope to outdo the dumpster fire. Plain and simple.
I'm going to jingle bell your ass right out of
There's
here.
the...
Good Lord.
Ryer.
Yeah.
Adobe!
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Adobe?
No, Tourette's. Sorry.
No, Adobe.
All right.
Adult onset.
So Hillary wore white to the inauguration, and there was the fact that she was even there. I was telling Buddy on Saturday, the fact that she could even go was good on her.
I hope she was drunk. 'Cause that would be
I really meant
the
what I
only way
said. I
could
wish
go.
that she had
I
taken
feel
out.
like purse wine would be a thing.
Oh yeah, I wish that she had had just a straw, just once, and kind of, done like a spitball to the back of that bastard's head. But
we went somewhere completely different with what we were doing with the straw
yeah,
there.
right. I was with you, Al. I'm like, okay, Marnie.
Wait, maybe that's what he was yelling at Melania about.
Maybe
he got hit in the back of the
He
head.
might
and
have.
was like,
He thought
He
it
does
was
not
her.
like her.
No, she does not like him.
I don't blame her.
And why would
Feelings mutual.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
Well,
two-way street.
She turned heads as she showed up at the inauguration wearing a white Ralph Lauren pantsuit and coat. The color,
Pantsuit is not the surprise here,
not
right?
the surprise at all. No, the color is of the women's suffrage movement, and many interpreted Clinton's outfit as a symbolic and solid nod of solidarity to the women that were marching over the weekend as well. It became a color of support for her throughout her campaign. When she came out at the president or the
DNC when
the
she accepted the
DNC when
nomination.
she came out, and even though she has never commented on the fashion choice, why would she?
Right.
She's not a.
Some
a
things are
commenter
better
of
left unsaid.
Many felt inspired, and there was the the grassroots movement to hashtag Wear White to Vote last year. That was the big thing. Anyway, during this morning's inaugural, or that Friday morning's inaugural events, Clinton tweeted about her choice to attend the ceremony. She said, I'm here today to honor democracy and its enduring values. I will never stop believing in our country and its future. On the same hand, people noticed that she wore that, and it became a thing. There was something where she had a cape as well, and I was trying to look that up, and I'm not finding it, but what I had understood, I don't remember who told me that.
It wasn't me.
There was something about a cape that she wore as well, a white cape that went with it, and that was a nod to the suffragette movement.
Oh, I did not see that.
And so, but I have been trying to find that, and I'm not, so that might have been just a big fucking lie. Trump's daughters, Ivanka and Tiffany, the oft not spoken of one.
Yeah.
Also wore, but she tried to get a free haircut or something. That was
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, yeah. That's delightful.
Do you know who my daddy is? They also wore white to the ceremony, though neither of them really
Knew
got
why.
it. Yeah, they wouldn't have any idea.
Well, they thought they
just-
were marrying Daddy because he finds them hot.
That's right. Absolutely. Good piece of ass. Well, the one.
What a weird show we're having.
The one.
So far.
Of course it is. Anyway, but I just thought that was wonderful that, that she was able to be there and that she's not going to stop believing in our country and its future, even though.
Because she shows up and answers questions when you ask. Like she's a class act.
She is, absolutely.
But she killed 40 people.
And I,
With her bare
of
hands?
course she did.
Yeah.
Of course she did.
Of course she did.
She's going to try to save
She
our
used
country,
her
but she
Adobe
couldn't
car.
save Benghazi.
Kat doesn't get that so far.
Somebody explain Adobe to me.
We'll get it in a minute.
All right.
There's a car ad for an Adobe car. German engineering meets Mexican know-how in a car that you mold yourself. And
Out of clay.
SNL from 80, 90,
All right.
86. Yeah.
Okay.
We showed the commercial earlier.
I love
We'll
it.
sure to get banned for it.
I'm into it.
All right.
So, the end. It was just I just was impressed, as always, with her. She just really did. She showed up and she was great. So
She was. I'm gonna take over now from the story because apparently that one's not done. Okay. You seem your wind is going out of your sails for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on with you. We'll figure it out. Some people, read more slowly than others. I do. I'm a terrible reader because I have to go back over and over because my mind wanders and I think of stuff. But the San Francisco Public Library's newest book is actually one of its oldest books.
Shut the front door.
More than a century old, this book is. The book was actually checked out of the library in 1917 by Phoebe Dickinson Webb, according to ABC7 out of San Francisco. Ironically, the book's title, 40 Minutes Late, is a collection of short stories that took a long time to come back to the library. Dickinson's great-granddaughter, Judy Wells, hopes that people give her dearly departed relative some slack, since Dickinson was 83 when she borrowed the book 100 years ago. She died obviously before the book's due date.
seconds later.
She died before the book's due date, and it's hard to come back as a ghost to return the library book, she says. Another great-grandchild, Webb Johnson, found the book in a trunk of Dickinson's things back in 1996, and he kept it for a while and even read it himself, he told the San Francisco Chronicle.
I'm about to read that book.
Head city librarian Luis Herrera didn't read the Family of the Riot Act for keeping the book out for 100 years. He was just happy to get it back. The current
Really, was he?
The current fine rate for books is 10 cents a day, which would work out to $3,650 according to the San Francisco Chronicle. However, the library's current amnesty
Or according to
program,
math.
Yeah.
the
I feel like
library's
they didn't take into effect in
current
years.
amnesty program for overdue books means that Dickinson's descendants will not have to pay the fine at all. Now, 100 years later, it's possible that the book, again titled 40 Minutes Late, could go back into circulation or be put on display. Dickinson's great-grandson, Webb Johnson, recommends that the display be done. I really enjoyed reading it, he said. It's one of the reasons I held on to it for so long.
Did the guy did
I
the
just
guy
never set it
really
down.
say he was just happy to get it back?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what a librarian's supposed to say.
They're thrilled.
Okay.
I was happy to get it. Oh, back.
Back.
in the back,
In the back.
in the back
In the
door.
butt, Bob.
The back,
In
Bob.
the butt. Adobe.
It's not that popular. It didn't come up in my Google search.
What?
40 Seconds Late, was that the name of the book?
Minutes. I
40
think
minutes late.
Fuck it.
Do you have a
The story
picture that I
of
sent
young
you?
girl's unexpected
Do I have a
pregnancy.
picture of
A
what?
picture that I sent you?
When did you send it?
I don't
The
know.
40 minutes
A little
when
bit
one
ago.
woman thought she was pregnant.
Messenger.
That's funny.
There-
gonna.
Thank you.
I didn't
I'm
know if
gonna-
it came through.
Thanks for
What
being
the
here.
fuck is this?
So Fisher Price.
Oh, God damn.
Fisher Price has given the baby something to do.
I have to.
Giving the baby something to do.
Give him
there's been,
something he
there's
can
been so
feed.
much talk about the uteri this weekend.
Oh,
you know,
mine in particular.
well, exactly. That this has been touted as the perfect tool for entertaining and stimulating the fetus during gestation. Fisher Price announced the release Wednesday of a new in utero activity gym. Whether they're batting at the friendly toucans in order to harden their cartilage into bone, or tapping the multicolored light up palm tree to test out their sense of vision once their eyes open at 28 weeks. The Fisher-Price Rainforest Friends Prenatal Activity Gym is guaranteed to give your fetus a head start and keep it happy and occupied. Adding that the 8 different preloaded songs will help fetuses grow the, I'm not even going to, thalamic?
Sure.
Brain, exactly. Brain connections needed to process sound. It all pops.
Ophthalmic.
Hypothalamic? Is that what it was?
Jackal. Is it a jackal?
Is it
Is it
Adobe?
jackal?
Was the word Adobe?
It may have been.
Our baby's
Adobe
made of mud.
brain connections. Nope,
Allegedly.
Just the clay. Just the clay. It all pops right into the uterus with the included laparoscopic installation kit and can easily be adjusted as the fetus continues to grow more cell tissue. Once the fetus develops into a viable infant and is finally delivered, the playset is simply expelled as afterbirth. At press time, Fisher-Price was rapidly recalling the playset for pinching off umbilical cords and depriving fetuses of oxygen. But... And he had there was a picture at some point. I cracked up. I thought, well, that's
Oh my God.
that one's a
Well, they
that's a
play
new one.
YMCA in the belly or Macho Man.
This is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's
Yep, it's good stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
It's very good stuff. In utero fetal activity gym.
All right.
Fisher-Price comes up with everything. Sorry, Mr. McKay. I should have gotten you that before. I don't know why.
yeah, because it jacked up everything when I tried to go to it. So clearly that's not going to work for us tonight.
Sorry.
All right.
You know that looks like shit. Great. Oh, where was I?
I look amazing. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna need because I have.
Well,
to
how
have-
many filters are on that?
Does
for
it
you?
I know.
not-
Look how thin I look. How filtered is that?
A lot.
Kat prefers
Oh,
them to
that's
smear
better.
mayonnaise on the lens. whenever she's,
Listen, it works.
Okay,
Life hacks.
because this one I need pictures for. So this now we're good. All right.
Do you need them? For, am I responsible for those?
No.
Was I supposed to bring those pictures?
No, you aren't supposed to do anything.
Okay.
You've done enough, Early.
I'm sure I
Adobe.
have. I'm sure I have.
A Southern California man named Bob, who is a 32-year-old father
In the
of children,
butt, Bob.
was watching his 2-year-old daughter play with a set of plastic animals that she got for Christmas when he decided to pick one up, maybe play along with her. He happened to choose a horse. Let me show you a picture of the lovely horse. Look at this little horse. Look at that cute little guy right there. Picked her. He innocently turned it over. Made quite a discovery. Apparently he did. And let me show you what. He's very busy over there in SoCal. Turned over and found that. He found the toys.
Anatomically correct.
He found the toy's detail especially odd for this particular reason. It looks like a human dick, he says in a quote, not a horse dick. I defy you to tell the difference, sir. I'd like to know what criteria you know about those two things. Bob would like his last name to remain anonymous, he told the Huffington Post. He also noted that other toys in the set lacked genitals, unlike the horse. The gorilla, the lion, the zebra, the giraffe, the pig, and the sheep, none of them have dicks, he said. Only the horse. Finding the whole thing
But there's more
bizarre.
horses.
Well,
Finding the whole thing bizarre and funny, he decided to take a few pictures of the horse and post them on Twitter. The photos soon went viral, receiving 15,000 likes and more than 10,000 retweets. I'd probably doing a little bit better than that onion we talked about earlier. He says, "I don't."
It's a horse cock. Of course it is.
Right. He says, "I don't think 10,000."
Know your audience.
He goes, "I don't think 10,000 people would retweet an animal penis." He told Huffington Post, and the folks who retweeted said, he retweeted said, pics had feelings and opinions about these different things. One said it was a choking hazard.
That's
One other man tweeted and said, "When people say I'm hung like a horse, they mean this horse." The toy, according to the description printed on the horse's belly, is made by a company called Batat. But Batat is not to be the only companies that appears to be adding this not safe for work detail to animal figures. Chris McGonigal, a photo editor at the Huffington Post, recently noticed that some of his son's plastic animal toys made by a company called Terra have this feature as well, and Terra has expanded beyond horses. For example, where's that goddamn...
Poor
Here we go.
exemplo.
So according to, they have a giraffe, and the giraffe also has a little gift on the down under, and also this lion. So you go to the lion, also has little something extra there. I thought it was very odd that they put that on.
This is kind of sexy.
here's the thing.
I'm a little concerned.
This is just custom built for the internet. The internet, as you well know, is for porn, and really was built. But really, the very basic foundation of the internet is dick jokes.
I thought it was cat videos.
Well, the cat videos came later.
Because you need a moment to recover from your last porn session.
Right,
So
right.
you got to watch some cat videos,
Yeah.
think about something else.
Cleanse the palate.
Watch some porn, tell a couple of dick jokes, cleanse the palate, watch the kittens.
Oh,
I made the mistake.
Wait, cleanse the palate, wash the kittens. Sounds like an activity to do alone.
They're the saltine
In your
crackers.
Adobe.
Yeah.
Oh, in your Adobe.
In your own personal Adobe.
The saltine crackers of a porn marathon. Just cleansing
Cleanse
the
the
palate
palate.
between bukkake shots.
And listen, if you need it, I may have made the mistake of watching a live stream of a room full of kittens. And so now YouTube thinks that's all I want to watch. So all of my recommended videos are now just
And you're not
live
gonna
streams
correct
of
them.
And what else am I going to do?
Nothing wrong with that.
Right. What
Look
else am
out!
I going to
Check
do?
out horsecock or whatever that is.
Don't Google
I'm
that.
going to Google it right now.
I want you to, Betty, if you would have only brought a device to look things up on.
I've got my phone.
Oh, that's true, you do.
There
It's
you
just
go.
a smaller screen.
I did.
Google
I actually,
yourself up some
I
horsecock
was
right
going
there.
to stop off and get my laptop at home, but I didn't have time.
I want you to Google horsecock, Betty, and then report back to us. Can you do that? Okay. Meanwhile,
Well, Ass Clown went so well. How can horse
Oh, God, no shit. Terrifying.
I already feel like the NSA is watching me. So it's,
and Chris Hansen.
oh, God. It
Yeah.
changed it to horsecom.
So the first thing that comes up with horsecock, which I spelled as one word,
Of course.
I don't even think
Traditional spelling.
I don't think I could even say that on this show.
Why?
The first thing that comes up is from
boy.
a site called pervertslut.com,
Oh.
and the headline
Hi,
is
Jenny.
"Never before seen slutty teacher
Oh.
taking a big horsecock deep in her."
Oh, there's that.
see you next
in her
Tuesday.
Adobe.
Here, see you next Tuesday. That came up second. First it changed it to horsecom.
Her Adobe. Let's just make Adobe our code word for anything we can't say on the air. She took it in the Adobe.
Hey. Be afraid.
I just sent you a lovely
Did you?
picture that I found on the internet from my
I don't know if I can get through.
Startling.
Would you like to start your entertainment section?
Oh.
Are you ready for that or no?
Oh, yeah, sure. I need off
the
this
confidence
page.
with which you
Oh.
stop looking at the horsecock.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
never.
Oh, that went wrong
It's
fast.
not cute. No.
You've never had a
I can't
segment.
imagine it going right.
I gotta jingle bell that away.
We haven't had a segment
Adobe,
from Al
Adobe,
Perkins
get out of
like
your
this
mind.
since last January. Boys and girls, it's the Oscars.
Here it is. Records were broke. No, repeated.
Right.
There were a couple of big
There
snubs.
was a record broken.
Yeah. We're gonna tell them which one.
We got a record. It's kind of a sad record. You go
Okay. Meryl Streep now just calls Oscar nomination day Tuesday because it happens every fucking time. I've got a movie review and something to not look for there, and some couple things from Netflix to watch for your viewing pleasure.
Al Perkins, ladies and gentlemen.
So go over the easy stuff first. On Netflix, I finally watched The Crown, which started off a little dry for me.
Did you love
And-
it after a while?
Yeah, and it really does handle some stuff. I mean, I remember the blank stares as I brought up King Edward and Mrs. Simpson once, and the whole room stared at me like I just described bad cheese. So it was good.
I love cheese. I would never I would never stare at you about cheese either.
Bad cheese.
So
That's been
no
left
such
in
thing.
your
That's not a
Adobe
word.
overnight.
No.
Yeah, it was left in your Adobe.
You just cut off the
So
movie
it
parts.
was interesting to see how they handled the abdication of the king and Mrs. Simpson, and I thought that was beautifully handled. And John Lithgow, and
brilliant.
he can't
Did
get
you
better.
hear?
Like every time I think I never thought he would top Dexter, and how good he was as the Trinity killer on Dexter. But I got to tell you, his Winston Churchill was just phenomenal and heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And he was acting his ass off. And the fact that he's playing you have one of the tallest actors working in Hollywood besides Jeff Goldblum playing one of the shortest
Playing a short
leaders.
fat man.
Yeah. Is really, and the way he did it with the hunch to kind of get across that maybe Winston Churchill was secretly 6'5". It's very good. And then a movie that I liked, but I guess no one else did. A Series of Unfortunate Events. Is that what
I
it's?
haven't watched it yet. With Neil Patrick Harris.
No, but the original movie with Jim Carrey. With Jim Carrey that I
I don't
actually
know.
got to see on. Isn't it Jiminy Snicket or something?
Lemony Snicket.
Yeah, that guy.
Because I read the books.
And I thought that I saw it on an airplane, and I actually enjoyed the movie. Well, now they've done the series on Netflix with Neil Patrick Harris, and it's getting great reviews. So make that your next binge watch. Give it a whirl.
I went to start it last night and then realized as the credits were playing that I just didn't have the attention span, so I had to turn it off.
Yeah.
You ever do that? You turn on the TV and be like, I'm actually not paying attention to this, and I want to, so I gotta come back another
And that's
day.
what I kept doing with The Crown, because I'd be like, well, I know this story, and then they would do something interesting with it. And I'm like, oh, but I like
but
the way
that's
you're
different.
Yeah, I like the way you're handling this. And I
The girl-
loved the
girl that plays Elizabeth.
spot on.
I love her. No.
Spot on. Claire Foy. Do I have that right?
Yep.
Really, I mean, the fact that she just twists her face around and looks like her is amazing.
Looks like her, sounds like her.
And the
Freaks
story
me
of
out.
Princess Margaret, very interesting. And I think there's a couple facts I think they played a little fast and loose with. But I
Well,
just
and
thought
the
it was
monarchy
really
won't
well done.
comment on it.
No, and so there's a lot of it that you wonder, how could you possibly know that? This is the most tight-lipped people in the world. Like, there's things about her education you might find out from other people. But there's a lot of those behind closed doors conversations.
Some of that you think they just made them up.
Yeah, that you're just wondering, like, you know, and Prince Philip was a bit of a playboy at first and, you know, wasn't really wanted because of his suspicious background. But it's very well done. And so the next thing I think I'm going to watch is the Neil Patrick Harris in Anything. And I've just heard that he's just hit it out of the park. Like, this is his big return to the performing arts.
I don't think that there's much he can do wrong.
It's
Neil
starting to
Patrick
feel
Harris.
more and more like that.
Yeah.
Like, he just seems to have a knack for whatever he does.
And it's super wide ranging. I mean, it's not. That's what I'm. He's funny. He's very serious. He's singing.
Yeah, the singing
Right,
voice,
he
and I've seen him live and stuff, and then I like on TV I saw him with the New York Philharmonic doing Company, and I thought that was very good. And he did the Sweeney Todd in the 2001 with Patti LuPone and the concert for the San Francisco Philharmonic.
I forgot about that.
And you know, he played Toby, a little too old, a little too tall, but I mean, pulled it off and with a lovely voice. And Hedwig just fucking amazing. Like, just worked that crowd and kind of acted like a stand-up comedian. Like, it really is a stand-up act that sings. You know, because it's just him alone with a band.
Yeah,
That's
very
the style
smart.
band.
Very good.
Gets that shit done. I will have to tell you, if you go see Split and go see it, it is really good. It's not really a horror movie. It's really more of a psychological thriller. You're kind of tense, but there's no like people jumping out at you like boo scary. But there is no twist. There is nothing.
No,
There
really?
is nothing to look for in this movie.
Oh, I thought I'd heard there was. Okay.
There is, but you're never gonna get it, and it has nothing to do
Okay.
with the movie.
Oh, okay.
It has It's like at the end of the credits, they showed you that it was Karl Malden for Amex. You know what I mean? Like, it just had nothing. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with the movie.
Interesting.
So don't waste your time watching the movie trying to figure out, like, ooh, is he imaginary? Is this person not there? Because it kind of took me out of the experiences. I'm like, ooh, is the girl really him? Is he really
Right.
the girl? Is this all in her imagination? Is that Dev Patel shirtless again? Oh no, that's just me masturbating.
Yeah.
Adobe.
Can't get that out of my head. But I love that for some reason M. Night Shyamalan, I'm not sure.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Yep.
Ramalama.
Bam Bing.
There's that.
He likes Betty Buckley, and so do I. So I can't disagree with his choices.
Oh, well.
Once again, he has put Betty Buckley in a very large role, very meaty, and she's so good. Because, I mean, like you're like 3/4 of the way through the movie, you're like, so Betty Buckley.
Stepmom, 8 is enough.
What you been doing? Well, cats.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? She's a cat, for the love of God. What's she doing on here? But it's a great use of casting because you forget this bitch can act, and she's really
I've always
quite
thought
good.
so, yeah.
Yeah, she really, and she has to hold that whole movie together.
Carrie.
Yeah, right, because she's helping you.
Yeah.
And then that's what I thought. I was like, oh, that's right. She got her start.
Shyamalan.
Sure. Shyamalan. Yeah. I know that It's not, but it's because it's kind of like Pedro Almodovar. I said his name wrong for so long that I can't fix it because the accent's in a different place than I always put it. So now I say it without any inflection whatsoever. Almodovar. And I just mumble my way through it. Shyamalan.
Anant is mad at you.
I know. I'm so sorry. And he has a cameo, which he does in every movie. But Betty Buckley back and let her sing.
Wow.
And she seems to me the only one left at the right age. If they decide to make the movie of the musical of Sunset Boulevard, let's just put her in it.
Wouldn't that be well?
Because I'd rather kill myself than watch Patti LuPone sing on screen, and many people don't want to watch Glenn Close sing.
Yeah.
So I think we can all compromise on Betty
that would
Buckley.
be a nice compromise.
Yeah. And I have a friend that saw Betty Buckley do it like 3 or 4 times and said she was amazing. So there we go. But more importantly than all of this, the Academy Award nominations came out this mañana, and La La Land has
this tomorrow.
Yes. No, it also means morning.
Does it?
Yeah, it means morning as well as tomorrow, depending on how you use it in a sentence. So Lin-Manuel Miranda is our first setup on this. He was nominated for an Oscar today for writing the song for Moana. And so he will be, if he wins, the youngest person to ever EGOT.
Yep.
The youngest and the quickest.
And the quickest, yeah. His time between first award and fourth will be
8 years.
9 years, I believe.
Yeah.
2008 was in the heights.
It's odd you say that because I was just listening to the Moana soundtrack the other day because it came up in my stuff. I'm like,
it's so good.
It's a Disney soundtrack. I mean, it's gonna be good. So I just started playing it and doing other stuff.
And you were listening to Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is a voice in that movie, which I didn't know, or at least
you know what?
credit him with that.
So what happened? What was he on that I was listening to? I think it was his maybe NPR interview. Anyway, something I was listening to, and he said that that was not originally the plan, but then the powers that be heard his demo and said, you know what, we love how you sound in this song.
Yeah.
We're going to keep you. We're just going to keep your voice in this song because we like how you sound. We like, the feeling of it and the cadence of it.
That's how you got the Disney
and there
movie.
it is. Pop, dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
Yeah. Bada bing.
Fell into it, fucking Disney soundtrack.
Well, because he
He
wrote
the
all the
song,
music,
yeah.
and so he would, have submitted the demos in his own voice.
Sure.
And they, listened to them all and cast them all, but they left him in
that one.
I Know Who We Are, or I know, the one with all the boats.
Yeah. Something like that. So he has the chance, and he would beat Robert Lopez, who wrote Avenue Q and the Book of Mormon and Frozen. He wrote, Let It Go, and that's how he got his EGOT. Was he?
I still can't let it go.
No, can't either. That song starts, and I got to do something on
I'm
a
doing
tower.
the whole thing,
Yep.
and I'm throwing ice at people. It's not even funny. It's a whole thing. I do it at the bar all the time.
You should.
I do.
Justin Timberlake is nominated for Can't Stop the Feeling from Trolls.
Oh, sure.
So now he could go 3 out of 4. He could be on his way to the without the
because he doesn't have a Tony.
Tony
right?
ego,
Yeah.
just the ego.
Just
Right.
Oh.
I'm sure he's
No
got
comment.
plenty
He's
of ego.
young enough, and I think he's talented enough songwriter that could be in his future. Or who knows, he could be in Hedwig the Revival.
Yeah.
20 years from now. Hedwig has a walker. Right. But I thought that was kind of exciting, and people were kind of not loving on that song, and I like. There can be pop songs in this category.
Yeah.
You can have something from the radio like you used to, where 1 year every song was a pop hit, so you knew all the songs nominated. It wasn't
there
like
used to be.
That's true.
it
You
wasn't
knew
a
the
throat
songs.
singer from Tibet screaming in a microphone.
Exactly. I mean, go back to this, particularly like the 70s. That category was mostly songs that you knew from the radio.
Oh, You Light Up My Life, the year of Hopelessly Devoted to You, Last Dance.
78?
78. It has Nobody Does It Better by Carly Simon. I mean, that year is just chock full of hits.
Sure.
And then even a couple of Melissa Manchester weepers are really good. The one from The Promise, the one from she had a couple good years there. So I mean I like that song. I like Can't Stop the Feeling more than I like either song from La La Land.
Oh, for sure, I do too.
Yeah. I have no idea how it fits into Trolls because I haven't seen it.
I haven't either, and I'm assuming because I have seen La La Land that one of those songs is going to win because they are more important to the movie.
Right? And they do the job that you're supposed to do. They are part of the plot, like
Audition,
Pimp. What's the Pimp?
Audition.
Oh, right.
Really
Hustle and Flow. It's
Yeah,
hard out here
out-
for a pimp.
yeah.
It actually was what the plot was about.
But
that was the more.
I'm still sore about that win because it beat Traveling Through.
Right. Dolly Parton just can't win an Oscar. She's had all kinds of chances. She should be an EGOT winner too, because she's been nominated for a Tony and for an Oscar, but she's lost twice. Poor darling. So,
Poor darling.
Poor darling. So, La La Land, 14 nominations, ties the record with
Chicago. No, Chicago only had 13.
Yeah, it ties the record with All About Eve and with Titanic. The bad news for Emma Stone is that the 3 actresses nominated in those movies all lost.
Here's my thing about Emma Stone, and I think
I'm okay with Emma Stone not winning.
She's probably considered the favorite, I would say. However, for me, I thought Ryan Gosling was better than her in the movie.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a chance.
But that's my thing, is like, he's not going to win, so no, she can't win.
Yeah, this is not her movie. I honestly, it's not her year, and the big snub that we have to talk about is Amy Adams.
I'm stunned.
That Arrival, the movie that I thought I was the only person that liked, and when I found out that people loved it, and she's been nominated everywhere, and the movie gets 8 nominations in a movie that's all about Amy Adams.
I am very rarely stunned at Oscar nominations because I tend to be like, all right, that's their choice.
Yeah.
Of the slate of nominees. I was stunned this morning because I actually thought she might be the favorite to beat Emma Stone.
Because they owe her. It would be her 6th nomination. She would join that league of 6 nominations.
Of course, I'm also someone who thinks Annette Bening should have at least 2 Oscars by now.
Right.
And I wish she had been nominated, but I'm kind of okay with her not being nominated. The film wasn't that big. She was brilliant in it. I saw it last night. But for some reason, I'm okay with her not getting the nomination.
Yeah.
Amy Adams, though, I'm blown away.
Because how can it be Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Score, and every scene of the movie is her face? Like, she's in every single scene of the movie. So either you liked the movie enough to give it 8 nominations, but you didn't like the person that gave it to you? Like, I really don't understand. I was completely shocked. Plus, she's lovely. Plus, she was due. And it's a year with a lot of moving pieces that they could have been like, this is your 6th nomination. I think here's an Oscar. You carried a sci-fi movie with very little other people that's very light on the science fiction. This is your Oscar. It's such an emotional
I think with the
part.
nomination, everything would have come together for her victory.
Yeah.
But now that category is like, I could see it going any one of 3, possibly more ways.
Yeah. All the movies are very melancholy this year. They're either melancholy like La La Land or just outright fucking sad. Mm-hmm. Or you get a happy ending where people are snot bubbling around you like Lion, where it's a delightful ending.
Very different.
But people
happy
are
ending.
sobbing so hard into their sleeves that you can't hear the ending dialogue. And I have to say about Lion, I'm a little disappointed to find... I went in that knowing nothing. I had not seen the 60 Minutes. I didn't know if it was a true story or not. I knew nothing.
Oh, really?
So when those closing...
you didn't know?
Facts.
Yeah, when they do the little epilogue of the words on the screen, and I could tell that a lot of people in the audience didn't know that either.
I don't know anything about
it. And you gave away one of the spoilers last week that I won't, because to me it was a big deal. But it doesn't come across, if you saw the 60 Minutes, and it doesn't come across as a spoiler.
What was the spoiler?
Well, he said he's not going to give it away.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it sounds like it's the thing, one of the things that they promoted the movie about regarding, like...
just his name. Just the fact that he doesn't know his name, and when you find out what his name was, like that to me was...
got it.
Yeah, that to me was...
We'll have to recap
when that screen came up, and I read that, I mean, that was when I just gasped.
Because you're like, well, why is this called that?
Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
I didn't realize that was...
Because I remember, and I like to go to movies knowing nothing. Doug and I stood in line for Silence of the Lambs, and I'm like... And I had read Red Dragon, but I hadn't read Silence of the Lambs yet. So I'm like, what the fuck is this title about? He's like, I don't know. She dreams about lambs or something, and she's waiting for them to stop screaming. I'm like, oh, so she's a farmer. I mean, that was literally the conversation as we sat down, because we knew nothing.
She's a farmer.
And I wouldn't read anything about Split yesterday either. Like, I read no reviews.
I would have liked to have been the reporter that interviewed you right after leaving that theater. What did you go in expecting, and how do you feel now?
Because I was screaming. So, Best Director, Lion does not make Best Director, even though it got the DGA, but Mel Gibson, I guess, has been forgiven by Hollywood.
I guess so, yeah.
He gets a Best Director nod for Hacksaw Ridge, which a movie I did not want to watch. I went to see it because people were saying it was going to show up at awards time, and I ended up loving it. And
Al, you and
hated
me,
myself for loving it.
I had to drag myself there. I picked my shirt collar. Go see this, buddy. I know you don't want to.
Give me the general premise that, because I want to say that it's something I thought The name tells me I don't like it.
The
but
name is a
fine-
horrible name for the
but,
movie.
But the premise of the movie I think I enjoy.
He's a conscientious
Objector, that's it. Got
to
it.
the war.
Got
did
it.
not want to carry a weapon.
Got it.
One of the reasons I didn't want to see it is the name. The name implies that it's sort of like an event movie about, which, I mean, it does ultimately end up being about Hacksaw Ridge, but it's about so much more than that. Hacksaw Ridge, to me, that says, oh, it's a movie that's just nothing but a big battle.
Yeah.
And there is a sort of, I think it's Mel Gibson trying to give his Steven Spielberg Saving Private Ryan scene.
Yeah.
Clearly, because it goes on for a long time. But the movie's about so much more than that.
Yeah, and unlike
And
Saving
the movie's
Private
about
Ryan,
an idea.
The backside of outside of
Yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge, where once you land on Normandy, Saving Private Ryan is a bunch of people walking around,
Yeah.
doing Lord of the Rings. This time it's World War II. That movie suffers a lot once you're past the D-Day invasion, but this movie holds up on every side. It really is.
I was
good.
really surprised at how much I enjoyed it.
So I was okay with him getting a director nomination because I bought The Ridge. I'm there. Silence did not get any love. Suicide Squad got no love for makeup, which everyone was expecting. Deadpool got nothing, and I really thought that was going to be good for a Best Picture nomination and a screenplay adaptation, because I thought that movie was smart and clever and entertaining, and they made me watch a superhero movie more than once. It's been since Batman Returns that I could sit through one of those.
And that's Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Funny.
Now,
funny.
it feels like that movie was a very long time ago.
It was
It
like
was
last
very long-
February. Or
and the-
something.
and- and
Okay,
movies-
because that's why I'm like, it seems like it would have been last year's
year,
doc.
and it would be
Oscars,
it would
whatever.
have been the first time since The Silence of the Lambs that a movie released in February would have been
Okay.
nominated for Best Picture. Viggo Mortensen, not a surprise at all. If you saw
No.
Captain Fantastic,
I think a lot of people who aren't you and me are like, Viggo Mortensen, really? And I haven't seen the movie, but I know who's in the mix.
Yeah.
Viggo Mortensen's not a surprise. And if I can interject.
Why
about-
don't you?
Please do.
May I just?
Yeah.
I have two kind of shout outs I want to give. My good friend Heidi Solzman, who is an actor in L.A., brilliant actor. 2 or 3 years ago, she tied for the L.A. Theater Awards, which is like L.A.'s Tonys. I can't remember what they're called. And she tied for Best Actress with Cicely Tyson. So that's how
Wow.
that's my friend Heidi.
Wasn't she in Portland? No.
No, that's my friend Dana.
Got it.
My
Okay,
friend
sorry.
Heidi was in Hell or High Water.
Okay.
They're
Which
called the
is
Ovation Awards.
One
Oh,
of
yes.
my 2 favorite movies of the year, Hell or High Water, and my friend Heidi is in that, and everyone in that film is brilliant. So she is excited because her film's nominated for an Oscar. Her partner, Louise Rungi, I'm not sure how she pronounces her last name, is a
European.
producer of Captain Fantastic. So their household
wow.
is
Oh, they're
just
terrific.
on cloud
Sure.
9 today.
Oh,
I
how
love it for them.
exciting.
I love it for them. So
Congratulations
shout outs
to
to
them.
Heidi
That's
and
great.
Louise.
That's
Very
awesome.
exciting. And Captain Fantastic, it's
That's cool.
it's a really interesting look at a man who decides to raise his family completely off the grid, living off the earth, but teaching them about civics and about history. And so they're off the grid, but they're very smart. So they know the land and they're book smart at the
And
same time.
I just missed it for the 15 minutes it was here in Phoenix.
yeah.
And so that and L,
yeah.
just L. Those are the 2 I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
So I need to somehow see those. L is still in theaters.
And I got Captain Fantastic on video. It
Okay.
came.
Yeah,
on the
I have
DVD.
to see both those. And I'm dying to see Captain Fantastic. I just never had the opportunity, and then it went away, and I don't know.
It just happened to be in my queue. Came up before the awards started coming out. I watched it. I was like, that was really good. And the next day they're like, and Viggo Mortensen is Best Actor for the Golden Globes. I'm like, wow, that's
Good for him.
I have a technical question, and I think you two would probably understand this. Maybe you will as well. I just
you don't
know that these two are kind of savants with regards to movies. And so, in the digital age, do they literally not just transfer a file and we see a movie based, or are they still shipping celluloid?
It depends on if it's being shown digitally or it's being shown on film. They will advertise now if you're seeing a digital film. Like they make a big deal at Esplanade, whether you're seeing a digital film or you're seeing the old reels. But a lot of movies are still made on reels because of the film stock. They want that quality.
And there's a cachet to having that on film. You know, now.
Oh no, I get it.
Yeah,
and
no, I know,
I
but-
appreciate the visual
so-
difference. My question is the movies like you're talking about. They're here for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
My question is why is it? Literally, it must be that is literally on celluloid. It's not just a file somebody's got, and they couldn't just pull it out and show it again.
They will, and then
Yes.
with Oscar nominations, it will. So what they do is there's a convention coming up in March called Show West in Vegas, and what you do at Show West is you tell your movies, and you Show West, life is peaceful
good.
there. So you do Show West, and you say how many weeks you're going to devote to a movie. So like the new Tom Cruise movie, it may be untitled, but they'll go in and campaign and be like, we want 6 weeks of your theater. You can do 2 weeks with no coupons. And that's literally what you do is
Okay.
you jockey for how long you're going to do
Okay.
it. And that's where Harkins went under with Cine Capri because they bid on Hudsucker Proxy. And they said, Coen Brothers, always a big hit. We're going to show Hudsucker Proxy for the whole summer. We'll block that out. We'll give you 8 weeks of Hudsucker Proxy. And it bombed. And they lost their lease. They lost their rent. They had no one taking up that big theater. No one went and saw it, but they had committed. So that's what... Right,
Oh.
that's what Show West is about. Is
Right.
you
Oh.
jockey for your time in a theater, how many weeks you're going to commit to it based on you think it's a hit. So if something bombs, like if a Will Smith movie bombs, everybody loses because they have that real estate sold for so
Oh.
many weeks.
Oh, I didn't realize
And
that's
you
how
can
that
sh-
worked.
And you
Oh,
can
yeah.
shuffle it down to the back theater that you
Yeah,
can't
but
see
you
the whole
can't.
screen.
Will Smith's Independence Day 2 bombs. You can't be like, let's get this out of here.
Yeah, you
You've
booked it.
committed to it.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
booked that show.
I did not realize that's how that worked.
Yeah.
So conversely, somebody's going to throw out is an independent or an artsy film,
Yeah,
whatever.
like My Big Fat Greek Wedding that all of a sudden is playing everywhere, and people have got to be like, I've got to clear a room because it's a hit.
Right.
And the art houses are the only ones playing it. How do we get our hands on this? And then you got to put Will Smith's movie in the back corner and get My Big Fat Greek Wedding in.
Oh, okay.
Which, a movie theater like Harkins, especially it being local still for the most part, they'll leave. They have some wiggle room.
They can jockey.
So something showing at Shea, let's say Neruda, which is a movie I'm dying to see at Shea right now. Let's say it suddenly went berserk and everybody went to see it. Harkins has some room to be like, okay, well next week we're gonna
We
move
won't
this to
show Star Wars on 10
Arrowhead
screens.
and
yeah.
Superstition Springs and Chandler Mall.
Because they don't commit to like 10 screens of Star Wars. They can cut it down. If Star Wars didn't work, they could have cut it down to 2 screens, but they have to keep it for that length of time. And
Okay.
then something that came along, like La La Land shouldn't be making $80 million pre-Oscars. Like this movie's a bona fide hit worldwide. They're already $100 million straight profit, and the nominations came out today.
Oh.
This movie's working on its own merits. It's word of mouth. So the fact that they made this lovely musical that the critics love and people are just masturbating to is a giant worldwide hit. It's almost unstoppable at this point. Because now the people that were resisting it are going to get the most nominations in Oscar history. Your friends all love it. Everyone is telling you to go see it. And now people are going to be like, I
All
guess
the
we got to
people
go
are
see
gonna-
that
well, we
fucking La
gotta
La
go
Land
see La
movie.
La Land.
Okay. I didn't realize that's how the theater in business works.
Yeah, when you go into the details like that, like Show West and how the business side, it sort of takes a lot of the glamour out of the whole thing. So
Well, no, I do realize it's a business. I just
Yeah,
didn't realize that they bid for time and they'll show it on X amount of screens for however long, regardless of how well it does.
Yeah, and you gotta jockey it down, and that's why they stopped having the little 2 and 3 movie palaces where you only had a choice of 2
Right.
movies. That's why they had to go to 12 and 15 movies, because if you booked into it and they bombed, you
Oh.
were fucked.
Okay.
So that's why those big houses that showed one movie, if it wasn't Titanic and you weren't filling every seat,
Okay.
which ironically was the last movie shown at Cine Capri.
Yes.
So by that time, Harkins like making buku bucks off of Titanic, but it was too little, too late.
yeah, it
Yeah.
really like the ship had already sunk by the
Oh.
literally that iceberg. There was no ship.
Wait,
yet.
that happens
So-
every time?
The other big snub was
time
Tom
you see the
Hanks
movie,
for
yes.
Sully. Even though he really had not gotten any attention, this is the 3rd time he's carried a movie by
Yeah.
himself. The one where he played Walt Disney, where he was wonderful, that Saving Mr. Banks, that got snubbed all over the place.
Emma
I'm like,
Thompson
I never
was
saw
snubbed
that
then.
movie.
it was
Yep.
so delightful.
Emma
Saving
Thompson
Mr. Banks.
was a huge snub then.
Huge snub, and then Captain
Captain
Phillips.
Phillips.
He is Captain Phillips.
And
It's about Captain
he-
Phillips,
Right.
and you nominated it for Best Picture. You nominated the supporting actor. What about the captain?
Oh, and he had one of the
Most-
from that year, one of the most amazing acting jobs
Scenes.
in one scene.
The ones that
That it was probably the best scene any actor
when
had
he gets
that
checked
year.
out by the doctor.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I still
I'm just getting chills
feels
thinking about that.
Just one of the best.
Ugh.
And that's when you're like, God damn, he can fucking act.
And since we're talking about best scenes for an actor all year, I referenced it a little bit earlier. Trevante Rhodes in Moonlight, who I would have been thrilled to see get a nomination as well. He played adult Chiron.
Oh,
When
just
he utters that line at the end, and I'm
Oh.
not going to say the line because it's so gorgeous, and my heart sank, and I was just devastated. This actor he was a former college track star, and he's gorgeous, by the way.
Loverly.
Has 2 amazing scenes. One with Naomi Harris, who I didn't know was Miss Moneypenny. I didn't make that connection.
Oh no, because she looks like such a hot fucking mess.
And then with who's the guy?
The guy
Andre Holland.
Andre Holland. From,
Those 2 scenes
American
he
Crime
has at
Story.
the end, and he utters this line. I wish I could say it, but I'm not because it ruins. It like sums up the
What
whole
actor
movie.
are we talking about?
Trevante Rhodes is his name, and
I'm gonna try to look him up.
it's just he has that scene. I'm
And
like,
you
this is
have
the most amazing
this
scene.
movie that's kind of about bullying, and it's
Oh.
about someone who's been bullied, and it makes it very hard to watch. If you've ever experienced bullying, it hits too close to home. They get bullying just too spot on the money that the first third of the movie
He is cute.
just is upsetting. And at the end, when you find out, like, you're either melancholy or you're fucking heartbroken. Finding Dory was not nominated for Best Animated Feature or Best Picture, despite being the biggest grossing and like a beloved movie. Like, there are no bad reviews for Finding Dory that I could find, so I was very surprised by that. And then 2 movies this year that I did not enjoy. Nocturnal Animals, because Tom Ford should stop making movies. I don't enjoy him at all. I didn't enjoy the last middle-aged gay man porn. And this one, just a terrible screenplay and a screenplay device in the middle that I wanted to stand up and just call Tom Ford and be like, pause this fucking movie and tell me where you got that bad idea, because I need an apology to everyone for that shit.
I encourage you to call.
So
I do too.
I was very surprised. I'm very happy that there was no director or screenplay nominations for Tom Ford and that bullshit. Especially, have you seen Nocturnal Animals?
I actually liked it.
The abortion drove me fucking. I wanted to kick everybody in the head for that abortion scene. It's not in the novel. It makes no sense.
Again, you're right.
What
It
are you
doesn't
going
make
for?
sense.
It's just
You're
the
right.
shock to
You're right.
say, I saw Cabaret once and an abortion makes an interesting
You're
plot
right.
twist. Like it was useless. There's an abortion in that movie that doesn't need to happen, and it makes no sense. Carries no one along. No
It's
one.
terrible.
It lightens somebody's load, however. But anyway.
Somebody call Mike Pence.
So yes, exactly.
Right.
Because that needed to be buried. So, but Michael Shannon. But the good thing about it is Jake Gyllenhaal is very very good.
Yeah.
And I think it's what cost Amy Adams her nomination,
think so?
because the company that made that was pushing her for Best Actress
Yeah.
there, and they think she may.
I
have
think what
split
cost
off of
Amy
both.
Adams the nomination is Donald Trump's tweeting about Meryl Streep, because I don't think Meryl Streep was in the 5.
Oh yeah, she's been nominated
But
everywhere.
I don't think she was this year. I think she was like right on the outside, or she was a bubble, but she got pushed in by Donald Trump.
And I think she's got a chance at a 4th win.
You think for
just
this?
to stand on stage and tell Trump off
For
again.
that reason, you might be
I
right.
think
I'll
him
allow
calling her overrated in response to her asking him for compassion, I think there's a chance that Oscar voters are going to be like, you got one more shot, lady.
There you go.
Tell him
Lifetime
to fuck
achievement.
off.
Top that.
Right.
Yeah, so there really is that. So we'll just go through a couple. So Nocturnal Animals, and then Elle. I think I described it to you today. It was a Jessica Lange /
Yeah.
Kathleen Turner 1987.
And I know exactly what you are getting at by saying that.
Yeah, like it's a very specific genre movie where this woman makes, and maybe it's my own repressed sexual repressions, whatever you want to say, that I just thought she was making. Like, that's a bad choice, lady.
And is it correct to call it a black comedy?
Not at all. It's not.
So I've seen people reference
There's a couple of
Is that a
uncomfortable.
blomedy?
There's a couple of,
Blamity?
couple of uncomfortable laughs
Okay.
there,
Trying to help.
but mostly you're just horrified.
Really?
You're just horrified by like, really that. She makes some really strange choices, but it's all her. So the
Okay.
year of Beasts of the Southern
Wild.
where no one was really the lead actress in the movie. Like Amore, Emmanuel Rivas, suck my dick.
Right.
You are not the lead actress. You went into a coma a quarter of the way through, and the rest of the time you laid there in a coma.
Right.
Actors don't like playing coma. Shows no range. So for people to say it was this beautiful, soulful performance, she's laying in a fucking bed.
You're right.
You took her dialogue away an hour ago, and I'm still sitting here watching this movie. No, that's not the best actress. And that's the year with Silver Linings Playbook. Jessica Jennifer, whatever her name is, Garner, Lee, Haas,
J-Law.
Lawrence.
J-Law. Lovely. Not the lead in that movie in any way, shape, or form. The only one in that category that year that was the lead actress of the movie was the little girl from Beasts of the Southern Wild, and I didn't understand that movie.
I didn't either.
I was like, what the fuck? But she's in every scene, so she should
but
probably win.
she did what the director said: is like, run, cry,
Cry.
scream, She did
But
it
in every scene.
Yeah.
So this year, the Best Actress nominees, everyone is really the lead actress. Meryl Streep, Florence Foster Jenkins. Think what you want about it. She's delightful, and she makes you care about this
Great,
woman.
of course.
She sells this role, and she's in makeup. She's not playing herself. She's not Jack Nicholson playing another version of Jack Nicholson. It's Meryl Streep taking on a whole nother person, and you're delighted by her.
I thought, Clayton, she reminded me of that gal that you have the records of.
Oh, Miss Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
And
That's what it reminded me of.
And it turns out she might have just been suffering from syphilis, and it might have been a little bit of like an ear thing from syphilis masked with a little bit of like mental instability, like all the stuff that comes with syphilis, that she could have heard something different. But she really does.
That comes with syphilis.
No, because it really does
It
have
really
a lot
does
of
have a lot of things.
It sounds funny when you say it's like it's a package deal.
Yeah.
It,
Well,
fuck,
we
it
got
does. It comes with a lot of shit you don't want.
Yeah.
Emma Stone in La La Land,
Yeah.
and she is the lead actress. I don't know if it's Oscar worthy, but I enjoed it. Isabel
I
Huppert
enjoyed
in
the
every
movie.
scene.
She was not my favorite part, but I loved
No.
it.
Didn't she win the Golden Globe?
She won the Golden Globe,
Right.
but she's not up for the Screen Actors Guild, so
Okay.
it's anybody's race this Sunday for the Screen Actors Guild. But Isabel Huppert, she really is the leading, and this movie is all her. Like everyone else is a supporting to her, so it qualifies in that thing. Ruth Negga for Loving. This is the one that every soulful performance. It's available on iTunes as of today, and it comes out in every other format February 7th. It's about Virginia versus Loving and the country, the right for interracial marriages.
Right. Okay. I remember. Yep,
Yeah.
I remember
Natalie
hearing about
Portman
that
for Jackie. This is probably where Natalie Portman gets her second Oscar.
And that's the one that you just weren't huge fan of, right, Clayton? The Jackie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But because you went in thinking it was going to be something different.
I learned things from it. I felt, again, I haven't spent a lot of my life watching documentaries of Jackie O, so I don't know. It felt like it was a parody to me.
And I have to say, because I looked that up afterwards, there are very, 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 very few televised interviews with her in any form. And that's why, like, people... So she's portrayed all the time by other actresses, but but where you're going to see her be her, very rare. So of the few, you have to kind of get that out of her. So of all the millions of times people have played her, the comments that I was reading today from like people of that age were saying that's what she was like when she was on TV. But as far as a formal, saved, sit-down interview, there just aren't any. She kept that privacy under locks. So I was kind of amazing, and it was an interview that Tom Osborne was doing, the guy from GoldDerby.com. And he was saying, like, he's of the age that he remembers her from TV, so he was so transported by her because there's been nothing since. He remembers her from those days being on TV doing the White House tour or talking here and there briefly, but she wasn't someone that sat down for, like, we're just not used to that. That doesn't, we live in the Kardashians world, so we don't know. Like, so what actress are you going to mimic to portray her? Like, it's such a rare thing. Like Mamie Eisenhower, you could have somebody come out and play her anyway. Who the fuck knows what she was like?
True.
Right.
Never, you know.
I think you'd be a really good Mamie Eisenhower.
Yeah, I could be.
Why
Who
not?
knows? So,
I feel good about it.
Actor in a leading role, Casey Affleck, who's going to win. Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, well-deserved. Ryan Gosling for La La Land. He's always just charming, and he's so beautiful, I don't know if he's acting. When the movie ends, I'm like, that. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
He could have played the fiddle through that whole thing. I wouldn't have noticed. And Denzel Washington for Fences, which that's all the acting you can ever ask for one human. That's like so over-the-top acting. And it was
Did you
so,
not like Fences?
I did, but he's doing the most. He's just acting,
Yeah.
and he's so. And I don't like him when he plays that unlikable. It's such an unlikable character, and I just being that up close and personal. It was like Long Day's Journey into a Fence. Like he was just so unlikable. It's very hard when you see a hard stage play about people you don't like,
Yeah.
like Long Day's Journey into Night. I love that play, and I'll go
Right.
see it anytime you want to. No one's gonna go see it with me because it's like sitting in somebody's
Right.
therapy session. And him, you're like, if you just saw a therapist.
Please.
Supporting role, I gotta do this right. Mahershala Ali from Moonlight probably will win. Jeff Bridges, Hell or High Water. Hell or High Water is a fantastic
Great.
old-fashioned Western.
Loved it.
Great movie. Lucas Hedges from Manchester by the Sea, the heart and soul of that movie. A win by him there would not surprise me. Dev Patel for Lion, who I want to win and take his shirt off and just tell me his story without his shirt. Michael Shannon for Nocturnal Animals. I thought him and Aaron Tyler Thomas Johnson Stone, whatever his name might be, I thought they were the two best parts of that movie, so whichever one they nominated, it's the only part of that movie I liked, because neither one of them got an abortion. Supporting actress Viola Davis for Fences, I don't think anybody has a snowball's chance in hell against her playing someone that made you try to like Denzel Washington as that horrible character, because we had to go on that long day's journey into a fence with her, and she got you there gently and gingerly, and the forgiveness, the everything that she displayed through that movie was just and no one can snot cry like her.
Right.
Like there should be an Oscar
yeah.
for making snot bubbles happen spontaneously. Naomi Harris for Moonlight. She's
Any other year, sure.
any other year for any of these women, it
Exactly.
would be their year. Naomi Harris, and who is she in? She's Moneypenny.
Yeah.
She's fucking Moneypenny in James Bond, and I never realized
I
it.
didn't know it till about a week ago.
Transformative. Nicole Kidman in Lion. Turns out, take away the Botox, you can act. That's
Sure.
science. Just write that down. It's how it works. I think the best performance of her entire career, and I think her having adopted adult children has really kind of helped her with that performance. That the two kids with Tom Cruise are adopted children, so she has this issue. Like she has natural children and adopted children. So I think maybe she's had that conversation before, but it was spot on the money. Octavia Spencer for Hidden Figures, a delight, but I don't understand why she got the love and not Taraji P. Henson, because I think
they were pushing Taraji for Best Actress, and so that was harder for her to.
Yeah,
get
harder
in
to
there.
break into, but I really thought Taraji was the better role for and then Michelle Williams, Manchester by the Sea.
Man, she was
it's
amazing.
about a minute and a half on screen,
But
what
she,
a
what
minute
she
and a
does
half.
with that minute.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That's
man.
it? Okay.
No, he's exaggerating, but it's not a big role.
It's not a big
okay.
role.
I thought
She's
it
probably
was.
a grand total of about 10 minutes.
Yeah, she has about 4 scenes, and that includes a scene where she doesn't say anything. She's just there.
Yep.
Like at
And
the
the
funeral.
scene where she does say something.
Oh my God.
Manchester by the
That's a.
And that's got the one.
I-
That's got the one line that will haunt, and only one person says it. But you can go back and imagine any one of the other monologues, ending their monologue with that line.
I saw the
and
trailer of
killing
that
you.
and was crying. Like, I
But
mean,
you
I
have
had- I
no
was like,
idea.
Oh, no
You have
idea.
no idea what happens in this movie.
They keep all the horrors in that
Oh,
movie
wow.
secret.
Okay.
But a little record, it's kind of a sad record, but it's a record nonetheless, is Viola Davis becomes the first black woman with 3 nominations for acting. No black woman's ever had more than 2.
That's
Wow.
absurd. But
Wait,
good,
and I-
but absurd.
I know, I heard that this morning. I'm like, no, wait,
Whoopi Goldberg has 2. That's the only one.
Yeah.
Wow.
That took a couple minutes more
Yeah.
than I'm comfortable with admitting to.
Well,
so that's
and there was about the Hidden Figures. There was, I can't remember who it was that was on a TV show talking about not wanting to go see it or wanting to go see it, and then saying she just thought it was like The Help in Space, and I burst out
Oh,
laughing.
I heard that.
I
yeah.
don't remember who said that, but it cracked me up.
And we saw that last Wednesday. What a well done
Yeah,
movie.
that's what you're saying.
Well acted, well written. There are no like evil bad guys,
Right.
and they address like and my Kirsten Dunst seriously can do no
Yeah,
wrong with me.
she was
Like
great.
Yeah, I
whatever
love
you want to
her.
do. And she has a little scene where she says, I'm really not out to get you or something like that. And I think this is where Octavia Spencer's Oscar nom, because Doug and I play that game of like, what's the scene? What's the
Yeah.
minute where the nomination came
Okay.
from? She's like, I know you think that.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Okay.
But there's that the single tear of
Yeah.
Diana Ross got her Oscar nomination. Barbara Streisand, the light behind her, my man. So we'll just go over 2 more categories. Achievement in directing, Dennis Villeneuve. I don't even know what that says. But he did Sicario last year, which was largely snubbed all over the place. So he went from a border movie about drugs to a space movie about communication. So there's some range here. Mel Gibson for Hacksaw Ridge, we've talked about that. Damien Chazelle, who did Whiplash, who went from Whiplash, a movie as riveting a movie as has ever been made about music, and then he made this delightful romp and this love letter to L.A. and anyone who's ever traveled to L.A. It's just lovely, and it's his because Whiplash. Sorry, you can argue whatever you want to. He directed Whiplash. Sign it. Just sign the check. Kenneth Lonergan from Manchester by the Sea. He's gonna win the Oscar. He's gonna get the.
You think so?
Yeah. No, not for this. Not for this category.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna get the Jane Campion.
Yeah.
What's the guy? The Irish guy. The Irish director, writer.
Mike Lee.
No.
Irish. Jim Sheridan.
No. It'll come to me.
It's got to be mix something.
And Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. So we have a black director, so there's like every category has an African American or someone from
or more
or
three
all the colors
actress.
of the rainbow. All the colors of the rainbow. You have the first time an African American woman has ever been nominated for editing. You have the first African American producers of a movie, and there's 3 movies with producers. So Oscar so wait's over. So we'll just go with the
thanks Obama.
Neil. What's his name?
Petricus.
Sedaka.
About the producer.
Sedaka. Oh.
Producer of the show?
No, the guy that... The Crying Game. Neil Jordan. Neil Jordan. So it's the Neil Jordan Jane Campion Memorial Oscar where you wrote it, you directed it, you did all these things. We're just going to throw the screenplay Oscar at you and please sit down and shut up. So it's the Jane Campion Neil Jordan Memorial Oscar. Arrival, Best Picture. Fences, Best Picture. That was a surprise. I didn't think Fences would make it into that. Really? Hacksaw Ridge, saw that coming. We talked about it last week. Hell or High Water, saw that coming. Hidden Figures, a little bit of a surprise till I saw it, and I had to agree, swept along, well done. La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, Moonlight. There's no movie here that if they said that name that I would be like, anything but that.
Right.
There's, nothing suspicious here. All of these are the 9 of the 11 best movies that they could have put Sing Street and Deadpool in here, and I would have
there's
walked
a
away
couple
happy.
that I really liked. I would have liked to see them better, but that's a solid 9.
It's a solid 9 movies, and I have 2 movies to see, and I've seen everything in every category. Like a year that I thought I was way behind, where just me and the Oscars are on the same
Turns
page.
out I have 8 out of the 9 yet to see.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I'm at 9 out of 9.
I mean,
go see movies.
Most of these are, and this is why I needed you tonight. But most of these are in the theater now. Moonlight came back. Arrival is coming back. Fences is still in theaters. Hacksaw, Hell or High Water are on video, and Hidden Figures is in theaters. So everything's available, and they're all making money. The lowest grossing one is Moonlight, and it won the best drama at the Golden Globes. It's back in theaters. Do not miss this movie. It's a great movie by this what the fuck is his name now? Barry Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins.
It's just an artist to support. This is a man with a very personal story to tell, and I hope to Christ none of that happened to him.
Apparently, and I meant to look this up before coming here tonight, this is one of the lowest budget movies ever to be nominated. Moonlight.
Oh, yeah.
Moonlight?
Naomi Harris said her entire, over the span of 3 days was when they shot her scenes.
And she plays 3 different ages.
And she also said that the hair and makeup people had a budget of $300 to $700.
Like per person?
That was their hair and makeup budget.
Whole thing.
For this film.
Movie is all love, and you feel it in every scene and everything. You can
beautiful.
Tell how much he cares about this man, this boy, and it's so tough to watch because you have to watch someone be bullied that badly, but the arc of this character and this filmmaking is exactly why I love movies.
There's some really poignant, heartbreaking moments in the film that just resonate.
And it, just beautiful, and for a gay film, for a movie by a gay man for a gay man about a gay man to be nominated in all these categories,
and not just that, but I left the movie theater thinking, what is it like to be a gay black man watching this movie? Like those issues.
Yeah. Right.
On top of being gay, the issues of black men who are fatherless and all of those issues. Mm-hmm. Gosh, that must have been fucking.
Yeah, and to find a father figure early in life who literally rescues you from hell. I mean, it's beautiful, and so Mahershala Ali, there won't be a dry eye if he wins. He didn't win the Golden Globe, but
Aaron Taylor Johnson won, and he's not even nominated.
He's not even nominated, but
he'll win.
Yeah, it's just strong. All of them are strong. There's nothing here that I'm like anything, because if Isabelle Huppert wins, didn't care for the movie, but can't argue with that bitch put up with a lot. And now I'm gonna go pee. So
anyway, that's that.
That's that.
Entertainment.
Wow.
was a good
He
segment.
could really have done that from the other room, and it would have sounded like he was standing right here.
The same.
Yeah.
About the same.
Super fucking similar.
Carlson, I know you went to a meeting, but I figure you might still have something to throw at us. Do you have something?
We just like to hear the thing. Go ahead, play.
I know
the thing.
you like to hear the thing. And Buddy hasn't heard the thing yet.
Oh, Buddy's gonna love it.
Buddy?
Buddy's not a frequent listener offline.
No, are you kidding? He's got life. He's got things to do. I'm just gonna guess. All right.
Well, then play the thing because
we're gonna play the thing, and then we're gonna talk to Kat Carlson because that's what we do here at Q Talk America. We talk about two things. Two things is what she brings. Two things is what she's talking about. Two things, important little things. That is what she's spouting out.
You just need two things.
That means two things.
Let's get two things clear.
And then two things about yourself.
And I've come to share with you one of two things. No, two of two things. We're sharing two things right now.
There are only two things I can't stand in this world.
Quick, grab two things you love.
It can be two things.
Only two things in the world I'm scared of.
Frazzle, two things.
Remember two things.
I believe in two things.
Guys are only after two things.
What's better, doing two things at once or just one?
Never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.
Kat Carlson, ladies and gentlemen.
How you doing over there, Buddy?
I preferred it. Well, first of all, before we get into two things, Buddy Early, how do you feel about my intro?
thoughts?
Do you think it's too long?
Your thoughts?
No, I'm still stuck on the beginning song.
The singing.
Yeah. I'm processing that.
Was
you
Craig
might think I
McEwen
did it. I
voices.
outsourced that.
Oh, I thought it was you. No, really, it was you, right? Oh, Adobe.
I was also going to tell you about growing up as an oppressed black man earlier, but I decided not to.
In a ham radio.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love ham.
The hits just keep coming.
They do.
Don't they, though? Don't they?
I thought he was really good with that.
All right. So I missed like the first hour of the show. I assume we talked
We'll
about...
recap. So...
There's a commercial about a car.
Buddy Early, ladies and gentlemen.
Supposedly.
That's all I know. That's all I know.
That's not allowed.
I heard that and got a twitch, but I don't know.
Who said that?
When I came in, something up. Oh, okay.
You said supposedly? Now I'm on a whole new thing. Two things about this. You
Drives
said
me nuts.
supposedly?
No, you had to be there.
Yeah.
All right, I wasn't
That's
there.
all I knew, trying to recap.
In any event, I wasn't here at the top of the show. I assume we talked Women's March, yes?
Yep.
Good. I was there too. Hooray. We ducked
What
out
were your
it.
thoughts? What'd
You know what?
What'd you do? Who'd you yell
There were
at?
women, there was a march. We're
Right.
getting- boom.
I figured, well,
Two things.
I got all the parts. I guess
saw
I
more-
should show up.
I
And a
personally
minivan.
saw more fallopian tubes than I had ever seen in my life.
Oh
Made
my
into a
God.
hat?
Yeah. The,
Oh, I
yeah.
have
Like
a gynecologist, so
everywhere.
you're
I
clear
mean-
on mine, yeah.
Like, everywhere you turned was another fallopian tube.
You know, my overall thoughts are, first of all, for as overwhelmed as the organizers must have been because they were expecting a much smaller numbers, for as overwhelmed as they must have been, it went surprisingly smoothly. Right?
Yeah.
Like, we got there late, surprisingly. Can't imagine.
Yeah.
And it was already so crowded, we were nowhere near any stage. We couldn't find a stage. We didn't know anything about a stage. Allegedly, there was a stage. I think I walked past it at one point. Nothing, right? So I didn't get to hear any of the speakers.
We
I
got
didn't
there
get
early
to,
and we didn't have
and still no stage.
We had no idea either.
Yeah.
How come you can get early to a
'cause of
goddamn
Aaron,
march
not 'cause of
and you
Aaron.
can't get here?
She got paid for the march. Did we not
Fuck,
tell you?
whatever. No,
That's really a good point.
Wait, we were supposed to get paid for that?
Yeah.
I'm feeling gypped now.
Just saying,
I didn't
that's
get
why
paid.
you were late. So
No, but it was a nice experience. You know what? Sharon
Aaron.
came. Sharon's mom came with us, and we had the kids with us, which was our excuse to kind of duck out early because as the march kind of like stuttered and stalled because there were so many people.
Yeah.
right.
In every city, they ran into that problem
Yep.
where they couldn't
Where they
officially
couldn't
march
move it
anywhere.
along,
Yeah.
because there were too many people to
We're at the
actually
beginning
move
and
around.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of an interesting thing because we were, as it turns out, we didn't know, we're kind of towards the back of the procession through Phoenix, and then our youngest was over it about 2 hours into it. And I was like, well, that feels legit.
That's
I mean,
fair.
he's only 8.
By the way, when we actually finally started marching, I texted my sister and my brother-in-law to find out where they were, and they said, "Oh, we're at the corner of 15th Avenue and Adams, which is like a little behind us." I didn't know until much later in the day that text that I got back from them, they had finished the march.
Oh my God. Okay, by that point.
Back to the middle and around again.
Yeah,
and we hadn't even started.
Well, at one point, Buddy and I turned around and I went, "Is that the beginning?"
Yeah.
Was that the front? Because it was them carrying their signs. And
It
he
was
said,
bizarre,
I think
though,
it was.
that was the front of the march.
I agree.
It
It was just
really
very weird. So we
And-
just started walking then.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I mean,
No, you're fine.
Size
No, we
matters.
didn't start walking till much later.
No, that's actually
Yeah.
really true. Yeah.
Size matters, but did you see it was from like Nova Scotia or?
Oh, I love that.
the
Nova
s-
Scotia.
Seven
Yeah.
women marching alone.
No, I didn't see that.
Again,
Oh,
heartbreak.
that's
Because
wonderful.
everything's either melancholy or deeply
love it.
sad this year. And those women in solidarity in a
love
town
it.
of 9, 7 of them
7 of them. Oh,
marched
that's
alone and rode.
fantastic.
And it really
Kenneth
broke my
Lonergan
heart.
is going to make a movie.
He'll
about
make a
those
movie about it.
women, yeah.
Nova
gonna be
Scotia
wonderful.
by the sea.
Yeah.
I don't know how to quit you.
But aside from the positive feelings, I felt, and this is kind of a feeling that I have about, like, progressive or liberal politics in general. I felt like there were a lot of messages, and I feel like at some point, somebody really needs to narrow down this this messaging and this message calendar.
Maybe
to,
winnow it down.
right, like the women's march. Sure, whatever you like.
I learned that.
Whittle if you like.
No, winnowing.
Winnow.
Remember,
Yeah,
I learned that a
I'm
long time ago.
familiar.
I try to use it occasionally.
I like it.
You're welcome.
No.
It's wonderful. But at some point, there does have to be more specific messaging, right?
Yeah.
Because and I felt this way.
This was the march of 1,000 purposes, as opposed
Yeah,
to.
it really
It
was,
really
and that
is.
was, and it worked for this particular
Right.
march. It really did. And to that point, I had after the fact, like there were pictures posting and things, and a friend of mine who I know to be, and I use the word friend very loosely. We know each other through our kids go to the same school, and we work on the book fair together, and that's like the extent of our friendship. But I find her to be a very pleasant person, like someone very nice who I'm not offended by, and it generally. But I know these things.
That's how I describe all my
Generally.
friends. I'm
Generally
not
not offended by
you.
you.
So I'm sometimes offended by you people, like let
Yeah.
alone this
Oh,
one woman.
sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Right. So generally not offended by. And she does post some things on social media that I don't necessarily agree with, and I, politely, because she is someone that I know, just don't usually comment on. And she posted a picture of the signs in Washington that were left at the fence of the White House. Right. So not everybody knows that at some point. And some of the participants in the actual march in Washington decided to fling their signs at the White House fence, and they left a big pile of them.
Right.
And so, without any context, she had posted
right.
About litter
so
bugs, yeah.
Without any context, she posted a picture. I can't even begin to comprehend this in just a picture. And I was like, well, that's really odd, and that's really
I
a lot
agree.
of signs. That's stunning to me too, right?
Pick
That's-
up your shit.
That's
is
really
right. Right.
Pick your shit up. Like I'm
yep.
stunned. So I do just the obligatory quick
Little vetting of
Google
a story.
search, little quick Google search, and I realized what has happened is that they've been left at the White House. This makes a lot more sense to me now, right?
On purpose. For,
Right, intentionally
Yep,
as a statement. And so I got into the Facebook comments, which longtime listeners will
Always
know.
a good idea.
I
Yeah.
love, yeah, but
Yeah.
I love to do it, and here's why: because occasionally, and this is a friend of mine that I know will engage in a thoughtful way.
Right.
Like
right.
occasionally, you get someone that will actually tell me where they're coming from and why.
Which is
And-
exactly what you
which
want.
is what I want. Like
Yeah.
I want to know why you hate this.
No, give
You know
me a
what I
real
mean?
explanation.
I want to know why you weren't at the Women's March.
Right.
Right.
You're a reasonably politically aware woman that I know of
Mm-hmm.
in my life. Like, why weren't you there? And her feeling was that people of her belief system had been uninvited.
Right.
Right? And so I said, well, be a little more specific. Like, what beliefs do you exactly have? Like, what actually happened here? So in the pro-life Christian women's circles, and they're out there.
They are.
God love us.
They voted.
Apparently, there's an organization called New Wave Feminists, who are a very pro-life, feminist organization, Go Nuts, right? And they had initially been for the march in Washington. They had initially been listed as a sponsor, like on the website. It was Planned Parenthood and these vaginas over here and New Wave, whatever.
Here a vagina, there
Fallopian
a vagina,
left,
vagina,
fallopian
vagina.
right,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
Pin the tail
how
on
the
the
pronouns.
twins.
Lady, yeah.
Pin the tail in the
Lady
fallopian.
Bits Incorporated, like all of these places.
Sound like a sticky situation to me.
Well,
Okay. Thing number 2, when I do run for office, I'm pretty sure that my political action committee is called Lady Bits Incorporated. Somebody write this down
No.
immediately.
Hang on to your tits and
LLC.
I'm
bits.
gonna remember that.
Well,
Hang on
I
to your
won't know
tits
your
and
name,
bits.
but I'll be. Oh, it's Lady Bits Incorporated.
So I am actually getting to a point, and the point is that she says, here's the link to whatever shitty Christian news site was reporting on this. New Wave Feminist removed as sponsor, blah blah blah. So I do again the obligatory Google search, and I find the interview with the spokesperson on Fox News. And I said, well, gosh, it's Monday afternoon. I got nothing to do. I'm going to watch this. Boop. Hit play. And so the interview goes through, and she says, well, we were initially listed as a sponsor, and then there was backlash, and so then we were removed, la la la. And then they get to the end of the interview, and it's the interview took place on Inauguration Day, like that afternoon. And they said, well, what are your members going to do? And here's the important part: they showed up anyway.
that's right.
They showed up anyway. They were removed as a sponsor, which I may or may not agree with that particular decision of the organizers in Washington. But I also agree with New Wave Feminists showing up anyway. Right.
Totally.
There's a lesson to be had there, because you're not going to be invited to activism. You're not going to be invited to being involved.
right.
You're not
True.
going to be invited to be
I wasn't
informed.
invited.
Yeah.
I went.
Right.
Right.
But, people that need to have like some golden invitation irritate the shit out of me anyway, no matter what it is.
Are you a feminist just because you say you are? I mean, at some point, what is feminism?
Yeah.
And you may say, I'm a feminist, but I know I'm wrong for saying this, but if you don't support...
Alternate facts, buddy. Not wrong. You're
I
not
know.
wrong.
I am digging this hole already and trying to figure out how I'm getting out of it.
And happy
But
to
at
do
some
it.
point, if you don't support feminist values, as I got in trouble for referencing over the weekend as well, if you don't support women having equality and having the right to reproductive freedom and these things, are you really a feminist?
But do you have to support every single piece of it in order to be able to claim?
And that's where we
Correct.
got in trouble
and
with. We got in trouble with Occupy Wall Street.
Right.
It started off as one thing and turned into everything.
Right.
Like there can't be a trans part to Occupy Wall Street.
Right.
This is Wall Street. We're going to
No,
deal
you're
with
absolutely right.
Wall Street.
Well, and that's what we saw at the march. I mean, there were signs for all kinds of issues.
Right.
Yeah, all the things.
And I think at some point where there was this march, and I think everybody just kind of came out, and all of a sudden it was that place to just go, ah!
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're exactly right. Now it needs to branch
Now
off
fine
to...
tune it. Each of you
Right.
have a very effective march on your topic.
Correct.
But
correct. And what is
if you're,
But what
if
I'm
you're
getting at is-
protesting Wall Street, let's save the trans issues and the bathroom issues for somewhere else.
Right. Well, what I'm getting at is when I was managing editor of Echo, I was getting a lot of pressure from local activist groups who always wanted us to include, pro-choice platform in what Echo stands for. And while I personally am pro-choice, I'm a flag bearer for Planned Parenthood. I want my tax dollars going to pay for abortions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm all for that.
I want my next one
Buy
free.
one, get one free, right?
But I always had an issue because I knew there were a lot
As
of
if
gay
there
people
are
who were not
coupons for that.
pro-choice. There were pro-life gay people. And I thought, well, I don't...
Most of them
Echo,
don't have uteruses.
Echo, and as well as HRC or at the time Arizona Human Rights Fund or all these different groups are supposed to represent all gay people for LGBT issues.
Right.
So this is sort of this thing. It's like what you're getting at about this march is there needs to be a focus, but I still believe like there's got to be something that feminism stands for, and I think reproductive freedom has got to be right at the top of that list. And if you don't support that, I mean, what do you do?
It's hard to but
Then why are you there?
I don't.
In regards to the march,
I get it, but I see the.
Right. In regards to the march, it wasn't an abortion march.
Right. Exactly.
No, but that's it.
Thank you.
Of all the issues.
It's the most anti-feminist of all issues to have. Right?
But Planned Parenthood funding and Donald Trump being a misogynist prick.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah, that's.
And if we're not defining feminism, one of our main planks being reproductive freedom, what else do we have?
Yeah, but if somebody is going in there and what their full belief, they're pro-life, they this, but it's about everyone getting paid the same.
Is that what feminism
I don't know.
is about?
Maybe for somebody.
Right, and you have to decide.
Maybe for somebody.
And that it's time for someone to be the grown up at the meeting and be like, all lives are important right now, but for right now,
we're
this
focusing
is the
on
issue
this.
that matters.
Right, because and again, I'm playing devil's advocate, but I'm just saying it doesn't feel right for me to look at someone else and say, but you can't be a feminist because you don't do that. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so Susie Housecoat comes to the meeting.
I don't like to be called that.
Whatever these meetings are.
You've
and
called them that for
says,
years.
It's a
I'm
lovely
a woman.
housecoat, though. It's a
I'm a
lovely
woman,
housecoat.
and I consider myself a feminist,
Very
and I
pretty.
think women belong in the home to take care of their husband and children. What do you tell her? She's a woman.
And we learned this from that wonderful documentary, The 70s, on CNN, where they got to the women's movement, and you found out where that backlash came from, which I was not aware of. I was always like, why are these people pissed off at feminists? And then you find the people that decided to stay home with the kids, raise the children, that felt like they were being attacked for making that choice in the 70s, and they felt like they were constantly being demeaned for choosing to be
Maybe they were.
just a housewife. And then you realize, oh, it's 2016, or when I watched the documentary, and I've still heard the just a housewife.
But my distinction that I was trying to make was women having the choice.
Right.
Because what I'm saying is there are women, just like there are women who don't support reproductive freedom, there are women who think women belong in the home.
Right.
So what do you say to that woman?
That's their choice.
You're welcome. Come on in.
That's
But no.
their choice.
No, Marnie, you're missing what I'm saying. She's saying women belong in the home. She's not advocating for women having a choice.
Yeah,
she's advocating for the Bible says women belong in the home. That's what I'm getting at.
Right. And that gets to kind of a bigger problem with inclusion. Like, I cringe every time somebody says inclusive.
Yeah.
Like, hang on a second. Like, what do we mean by inclusive? Do we mean that we're going to accept all of your allergies because we just can't cook a dinner?
Yeah.
We cannot cook a dinner.
I want the peanut sauce. You can't have the peanut sauce.
But I'm not. I'm kind of not kidding.
Right.
By the time you get all the celiac disease and all the gluten sensitivities,
dairy,
peanut
allergies,
peanut allergies, lactose intolerance,
complete
other
dairy,
food allergies, aversions
I'm
to
vegan.
vegetables.
I mean, every single
because
thing.
we're so
And not that
busy
that's an
trying to
allergy,
make
but-
sure everyone is included that can we just focus once? Can we just pick a topic?
But doesn't that go back to the
but
idea
you
of
can-
being politically correct? I mean,
right,
that's
no,
what,
and that's where the political correctness really plays
That's where it goes
a role.
wrong, right.
Because you want to be like, all right, I'm going to hold your hand because I'm sure that you're, and because I always bash them, I'm sure your vegan lifestyle has to be represented here, but some of us are going to eat meat, so get over it.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
go
one of
ahead
those
and order
things
the
where
Brussels sprouts, and I'm
we
gonna
just
get
want
the steak.
everyone to make sure. I don't want you to feel left out of this. Like, I just don't want you to feel left out. So I guess we're all gonna drink almond milk, even though I think it's filthy.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
No.
but you end up in that place of like, and I think and it happened with Occupy Wall Street, and from what you're describing, it just happens again and again.
It will happen there, sure.
In an effort to try to help understanding of people, you mentioned Susie Housecoat. I looked for her. I was only able to find Susie's
Actually, that looks
housecoat.
like Mrs. Roper.
It's Susie's housecoat, and I could not find Susie housecoat.
Lovely on her.
I think that's Mrs. Roper.
You know, if a woman shows up at the march, a feminist march, with a sign that says, girls who wear short skirts are asking for it, is she a feminist? Because she's just that's her opinion.
Right.
And you gotta whittle it down at some point.
I'm gonna call that one an
absolutely
easy
do.
one.
You
I'm gonna
absolutely
say,
do.
no, you're not.
Again, when are we
Right.
That
And
we're
then
gonna take her aside and we're gonna be like, sweetheart, this is what
This is not your march. But the
You're
point
the define your rape.
But
March.
the
That's
point that I
yours.
was getting to wasn't necessarily like starting to weed people out, which we maybe kind of need to, but it was the fact that people that had felt uninvited showed up anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what you need to do, is show up. If you feel like the Women's March is for you,
Show up.
show up.
And make
And
your
find out
place
when
And
be
then
there.
it is for
Find
you.
out.
Meet some
Right.
people, interact with them, and be like, you know
Yeah,
what? No.
and in the like Facebook back and forth that I had, I even was able to launch into a personal anecdote that actually
Nice.
proved that for her.
Nice.
Because I live in a very Scottsdale place, right? And local
Again, why
and-
do you live so far?
Right. This was a whole thing. I'll tell you later. But I live in a very Scottsdale
Different
place.
March, buddy. We're going
And
to tell you later.
People that are not local listeners don't know what a very Scottsdale
love
place
you,
looks
man.
like. It looks very white. It looks very.
It's an uppity area.
It looks very well-to-do. It looks very college-educated, right? And it looks very like straight white people in suburbia.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We got a poor lesbian living there.
Right. My household shouldn't be able to afford to live there.
They're bringing the property values down.
I
Let's just say
am.
that.
No, and I say it every time I move. I'm like, rednecks are moving in,
Come
and then I
on.
have a party in my front yard and prove it.
Would you like a solo cup? I have them over here.
But you know what I mean? Our income is not fractional of some of my friends' husbands, right?
Right.
And we are not, a straight white couple. My kids have an immigrant father who I wish could be deported, but he has his citizenship.
What's
Right.
his
Fuck
name?
my
I'll
life.
get on it.
All right.
Dear Donald Trump.
Dear
That
Donald
wall is
Trump.
going up tomorrow.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So we're a gay family. I have stepchildren. They're my kids are mixed race. Like, we're all of these things that don't really fit in there. And so what did I do? I went and joined the PTO at the elementary schools.
Naturally.
Yep.
Like you do.
Like
right?
you should.
And so last year, one of the PTOs at one of the schools said, "Oh, we need to update our bylaws, blah blah blah," which is a really boring process. But I said, well, maybe I should be involved in that. Why don't I got nothing going on this month. I'm on the committee, right? And I found out as we were reviewing it that the way that the membership clause was written could be, if someone wanted to, used to exclude me, because it said parents or heads of household of a student. Well, I'm technically neither of those.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because of the way that I'm tax filing. I'm not necessarily a head of household, right? I'm not a parent. I'm not even, because we're not married, I'm not even necessarily a step parent. So somebody, if they wanted to be a super douche, could use that to exclude me. But because I showed up, I said, hey, why don't we change this language too? And now I'm 100% covered.
Sure.
And
know what I mean?
what verbiage did you select to use? Domestic
adults
partner?
living in a home where a student resides.
Wow.
Or something like that. You
That's
know what I mean?
that's
So
That's gonna get a nasty uncle on the board.
no,
And that's
but-
rather broad.
But that's what
Vans must have windows.
those were some examples, because I'm like, wait, this isn't all about me. We have grandparents
Oh, and no, and that's
who come and
exactly
volunteer.
fair.
We have older siblings. We have cousins, uncles. We need to include other adults than just parents.
And the
We need to
grandparent thing
broaden
is
this out.
Huge now.
Sure.
Grandparents
Oh,
as,
very huge.
as
As
primary
As
caregivers.
primary care. Yeah, so we
Well, sure, because all the parents are all meth heads now. They're all living in the van by the river
No,
while
it's
the
not-
grandparents.
It's
or
not
the-
meth anymore, people.
Yeah.
It's heroin.
It's heroin, straight
Like-
up.
But I was
God
just
love
picking
I know,
an
but it's
easy one.
time to update your drug jokes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. We keep.
No, you're
interrupting
fine.
you.
What do
Like
I
we
have
do
as-
to Marty. Like we do to Mariah.
But you actually
It
had
was-
my
it
name right
was-
to begin with,
Almost,
and
I
I
know.
liked it.
It was bad today for Marina too.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, so that was my first thing. It had to do with the Women's March and all of the other things, and I forgot what my second thing was.
Wasn't horsecock, was it?
Like
Already been
sometimes
covered.
can be
Adobe-
autocorrected to
Adobe
cum.
Let me check.
Homes.
Horsecock. No. Oh, okay, I remembered.
Oh,
Thank
If
goodness.
only you wrote that down or typed it on that computer. You're
I
looking
did
at.
none of that. No, I did no preparation for today, and I do pretty well
Yeah.
off the top of my head. The other thing, in the spirit of show up and be involved and be more present and aware, I am working on, and any local listeners that want to help me work on this, I would like to create a very shareable calendar that gets updated and shared often with Arizona events, public events by elected officials. So, for example, the only thing that's on there right now is Kirsten Sinema's coffee chat, right? Because that's a public event where the elected official is going to be meeting with constituents.
Maybe or maybe not. We're not sure if it's going
I
to
knew
happen.
it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Tried. I really tried.
Oh, Marnie.
It's a 50-50 on whether it's going to happen.
Is this a thing that you showed up and... No, I don't know what happened.
No.
What happened?
No, it's
It's the bisexual joke.
History.
50-50.
They have
50-50.
They have a history of not
It's always
committing
been
to a
her beef
flavor.
with June and cinema. Always has been.
Just no, that and
Because of the
mainly
bi-
no
the what?
fact that she will pander to.
Well, she's a
God
panderer
level.
for sure, and I
She
think people that know that
panders.
she's a panderer.
Right.
Apparently
should
she
show up
likes
to her
coffee.
fucking coffee chat and say, "Hey, where the fuck have you been for 3
Oh no,
months?"
that's what you're exactly right. And somebody,
Right.
I don't remember who it was that said that to me, but was like, you need
Yeah.
to show up and call her on it.
So this is
that
this
you?
is my
I don't
new
know.
brilliant idea.
It was you.
What's that?
You said
That
that
said-
to me.
that you- that said you
when
should
we were
fucking
sitting
call
out
her?
there, when we were sitting out there
Probably.
watching the.
Oh, did you call?
bitched
Oh, I
about
did.
it.
I gave you a whole.
Yeah.
I forget that we didn't record the show in the living room.
See, by the way, I listen. I listen.
I
'Cause
guess.
I'm like, wait, no, somebody told me to do that. You did.
Totally told you to call her.
Yep.
Yes.
You show up and call her out.
And
on
that's
it.
a thing. And so, like, eat a good breakfast every day, kids, because every day the news is getting scary, and every day there's something that's happening. Every day there's something that's happening on national levels that you feel like you can't do anything about, right? But what you can do,
Oatmeal and tang. I need
What
oatmeal and
happened?
tang, buddy.
That's your balanced breakfast, oatmeal and tang.
right? Have yourself some oatmeal and tang every day, because this isn't like short action stuff. You know what I mean? This is at least 4 years worth of people who maybe we don't all agree with feeling really entitled to do whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
And there's
Literally.
not a lot there's not a lot to stop any of that. The best thing that we have on our side is your local representatives being afraid of re-election. Like, that's the very best thing that we have on our side. So I feel like if I can help contribute to that, and I called who did I call today? I called John McCain's office and nobody would answer the phone and his voicemail box was full, so that's going to be a little bit of a challenge.
And I've been trying to call Paul Ryan for days.
I did that.
Have you?
Oh, I did that the other day.
And I've been looking for Paul Ryan on Scruff. Have not found him.
Not found him yet.
It's been user busy.
Has
It's
it?
been all circuits are full.
I did that
And
two
that's
days,
wonderful
like 2 days
news.
ago.
Was
I think
McCain
it was.
unable to get to the phone because he was busy voting for Tillerson today?
I believe so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like little fuckwad, little Marco,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah, but we have to help each other find the events, right? Because the information is now hard to find because we haven't cared about it
Right.
for a generation.
Right.
We have not cared, so that information is going to be hard to find. I looked on all of their websites. I looked at my immediate local representatives. I figured start with my people first, and
Right.
we'll go from there. And nobody has a calendar of events on their website.
And John McCain is not known for going amongst the people. And
Sure.
it got cut back. Gabby Giffords was the best that we had as far as
Sure.
having events with the public, and they shot her in the head. So
Which means that A, leave your guns at home, and two,
yeah,
when there is an event, it will be really impactful
right.
when we show up, right? So that's kind of my new project that kind
we
of
need
came
to pressure
out of-
McCain that he needs to come amongst the people, because
Yes.
he doesn't campaign and he doesn't do anything in his time in the Senate to listen to his constituents.
to listen to the constituency, and that's a
Snowflake
problem.
or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Is no better. Like
Flake. Jeff
yeah.
Flake.
Yeah,
I
whatever
like
his fucking
Snowflake.
name is.
I like that.
Is snowflake supposed to be an insult somehow? I like.
He's white.
They're beautiful. I'm white. They're
Oh,
powerful
no,
when they
that-
add up.
No, I
was
just
being
I
sarcastic.
couldn't remember
I
if his
was
last
being
name was
sarcastic.
Snow or Flake. Like I
Yeah.
just did
Jeff
I was
Flake.
like, I got a 50-50 shot if I make it one word.
No,
What is
because
his last name? Is it Snow?
it is Flake.
It's Flake.
Oh, it's Flake.
Yeah.
See, that's you gotta
Yeah.
go with the.
I just
the
said
noise.
Jeff
Flake.
Flake.
No, Snowflake has been
Flake.
the liberal
That
insult.
doesn't mean I heard you.
Sure.
Of
Exactly.
the season.
Little prancing.
I know.
thing.
And
I'm
I
listening
keep-
to the
I
same
keep
thing you
thinking-
are. I thought maybe you could have.
Yeah, tell me back my Oscar stocks.
A black woman said something in a movie about a spaceship.
And she had a snot cry.
Snot cry.
Somebody
Yep,
did,
snot
yeah.
cry.
Octavia Spencer snot cried.
That's right.
Well,
Yes.
not
Okay.
close enough.
I only know that because they
Atta girl.
shove it down your throat in every commercial
So
about it.
I love
It
this
wasn't
idea,
actually
and I
Octavia
love
Spencer,
In
it
any
was
event, if
if we
Viola
can
Davis,
force your
Okay.
local representatives to go out in a
Correct.
gun-free zone and interact with the public
Sure.
like Gabby Giffords was doing, because she really, that's how she was getting reelected in that district.
Absolutely.
She was in a heavily Republican district, and she was winning
and
handily.
talking to people.
Right.
Like here's the weird thing: if you actually talk with people you have a better chance of getting your point across.
Right. And when McCain goes into his bubble is when he fucks up.
Mhm.
When he actually has to go out and interact with people, he's a decent man.
Sure.
And makes right decision and says the right things. When he goes and hides in his bubble, all of a sudden he's a Trump supporter and he does everything possible wrong, and he starts trying to invade the Safeway.
Right.
Like he's got a plan in place.
Which,
to
depending
invade
on which
anything.
Safeway, I'm on board.
I am not completely against it. I feel like military presence at 7th Avenue and Camelback
is
may
necessary.
not be a bad idea.
Necessary, right? Yeah, but that's the power of the human factor, and thanks to technology does a lot of wonderful things for us. I've been, a lover of technology for a long time, and use it for way more things than any human should.
Yeah.
But that human factor is what's really missing, and what's really kind of brought us to where we are now, because we're not connected to the people that we disagree with. We don't see.
We're isolationists.
When we say that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? When we say whatever horrible shit is on our mind, we don't see that person's reaction.
Am I the only one who thinks that Kat is a way better person than I am?
Oh, no, I do too.
No, I agree.
I'm pretty sure everyone does.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're only here because of Oscars, buddy.
I barely get.
why
I
do you
mostly
feel
want
that
to
way,
punch
buddy?
people in the throat.
Right?
Why? Why do you feel that
She
way?
does stuff and cares and tries to make change in the world. And
That's a
No,
good thing.
I always have thought she's one of the best moderators ever. She should be when you're going to war and you need somebody to moderate something or like a divorce and you're going to what's the arbitrator arbitrator
Sure.
yeah that's mediator arbitrator whatever it is yeah that's exactly what you could do. I mean literally you could bring oil and water together and they would get along lovely and then they would mix.
And you know what that is? That's really just a little bit of empathy and a lot of customer service background. That's a lot of just dealing with stupid people in
I know a lot of people with customer service backgrounds that can't do shit.
But you have to add empathy. Without
You have to
empathy,
add some empathy. Like I and I've kind of always done it in every industry I've worked in. I'm trying to think of one that I didn't. I can, through empathy, just find that connection with just about anybody.
you know what's really funny is I actually, for a completely different, perhaps opposite reason, also make a great mediator / arbiter.
Because you don't give a shit?
I have no feelings.
Right.
I have no empathy. It's about facts for me.
Fact based on either
Yeah.
side.
Exactly. That's funny though.
That is
'Cause
really
I mean,
funny.
and I'm being serious. Like
Yeah.
I do mediate between people. a
Mediate.
lot.
That's what I
And,
wanted.
You know,
God,
I always
is
look
that
at
mediator?
but because I don't care about anyone or anything.
You don't care about the outcome.
So
And
it's
see,
completely
and
different.
see, I
No, but
care
it
a great
makes
deal,
sense.
and
It really does.
I don't have a dog.
I don't have
I don't have
it.
to-
Yeah,
that's
I
what
don't
it
have
is,
That's
yeah.
it.
and I sometimes consciously and sometimes unconsciously will find myself coming to someone's plane. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if someone's up here, then I'm right there with you. If someone's down here, I'm right there with you. I found it. I had coworkers when I worked for an insurance company. It was basically a call center. I had coworkers that would be in the cubicle next to me and would know what region of the country I was talking to by my accent. Because if I was talking to somebody from the South, all of a sudden I would pick up a little bit of their
Right,
Southern
yeah.
accent, and I would say, "Well, honey, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna and sugar, what I got for you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really
Yeah.
would, because when you're talking to someone from the South, if you honey and sugar them up,
Right.
then
You're one of them.
They're invested, right? Then they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay. Well, you're all
I
right.
like
That other
you."
motherfucker I was talking to."
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
And when
that's
you have to, you have to. I do a lot of teaching.
Uh-huh.
In my job, and I'm sure you do too, where you have to get something across. And we were talking about the perception being reality. I have to tell people news or explain something to
Oh,
people,
right.
and then I have to ask them, "What'd you hear?"
Sure.
You got to say it back to me.
Now,
what you heard.
now tell me what I just told you.
Tell me what I just told you,
Right.
because I'm going to need that to happen. And if they tell me something back, then I'm like, all right, now I know what level we're communicating
Where we're at,
Above,
sure.
below.
Absolutely.
You have a background in this. You have a background. I just need to know, okay, I can kind of get
Right.
where you're at, and I'm going to try to explain it in something you can
And
understand.
I feel like up and down is the wrong graphic to use
It
that,
is, it
because
is, it
it's
is.
not necessarily
It's-
a better than or worse than.
right,
It's
and
just
exactly.
This is where we're at. Are you okay? You're a very literal visual person. I have to talk to you this way. You're like a metaphorical person. You're an emotional person. I have to talk to you in these different ways.
And so it's more of a spectrum than it is
Right.
an up or down. It's like, how do you learn? What are you hearing? Are you a selective do you have Scarlett O'Hara selective hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Do you only hear I would love you and you heard I love you? No,
Right.
nope. Ashley, it's not what she said. You know what I mean? Like
different.
Right.
Different.
you gotta beep,
Oh,
beep. Let's go back. So, all right, let's go to thoughtful vulgarity.
Go to thoughtful.
Oh, like that. That was a bail. I didn't realize.
We didn't know
I mean,
where we were
Nan's
at.
chomping at the bit with some questions, and I've got a. I think we're armed and ready.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
Oh, here it goes. It goes.
Anymore, yeah.
Here we go.
And now, thoughtful vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow, which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk. Because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck.
So Anant asks the question of, and you're in a situation, and I don't think he asked about Katie too, but they may have the question of like, where's the daddy? And I think that's more applicable to them because there's not a custody thing where.
Oh yeah, no, my kids know their dad and see him.
And people see them with them. Like he brings them to school sometimes, right? Like.
Yeah, you know what? In that particular community, I am the most visible, and I think part of it's because I'm the most memorable, and I'm the most involved. So in the school environment, the kids are more associatively attached to me, and so because it's happened, I can't tell you how many times where the kids will be with one of their, with Sharon or with their dad, and people will be like, oh well. Where are your people? I don't see Kat. Oh, they have other people. So it's been kind of that learning curve because I was always the most involved because I had the most daytime hours.
Right.
I don't work during the day. I work like night weekend hours.
Sure.
So on a Tuesday at 2:00, absolutely, I can come to the school for no reason but to make copies.
Right.
I got time.
Making copies.
I got time.
Making copies.
So, I mean, but are there ever questions where you're asked, like, where's the dad in the story, or is he around enough that doesn't come up? Like, did they ever get, I think that's what Anant is asking, is does that come up?
It doesn't, it doesn't come up to the kids anymore. I think in our communities, we're pretty well known, and the oldest is the only one. So the youngest is special ed. The oldest is the only one that really was ever asked those questions, and he was always really angry about why didn't people get it.
Okay.
Like he understood our family situation. He said, "No, I have a mom, I have a dad. My dad got married, and I have Kat."
Yeah,
like this is his reality, and
he's a really cool kid too. I mean that doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah, and he always just got really angry at having to explain because when I was in school with him, and it was mostly other kids, because kids will ask the question where parents will shut it down, and I'd rather the kids ask the question. But the kids would be
course.
Like, and the kid
be inquisitive. Don't shut down anyone's curiosity.
And the kids would kind of point at me and be like, "Hey, is that your dad?" And my kid would get so angry. "No, it's not my dad. That's Kat."
Yeah, well, that doesn't answer the question.
That's the only answer the kids ever get from him.
And if he's learned vagaries, I'm all in with being vague.
But kids should always ask that question. I was in a school for book fair this week, and there were some kids kind of milling around the library where we were setting up, and I was doing my job, and they were asking questions because they get really excited when something new happens in their environment, and so they're asking, "Oh, do you have this book? Oh, do you have that book?" And that's my favorite part. So I stand out there and I ask the questions, and I give the kids a hard time. And one girl says, "I have a question." I said, "All right, go ahead, ask your question." She said, "Are you a boy?" And like the adults in the room were like, "Oh my god!" And I said, "Well, that's an awesome question. What do you think?" "I think you're a boy." I said, "Why do you think that?" She says, "You have short hair." "Do you know any girls with short hair?" She says, "Yeah." "All right, well, you were wrong on this one. I'm a girl." But she was.
But it's your presentation back to them.
I'd have been the one kicked out of the library. That blows your fucking theory out of the water. I'd have been the one escorted off property.
Right. But that's all about your delivery and the fact that you don't.
I
jump
love
to
that
being
question.
offended.
Right. Why wouldn't you ask?
Right.
I wear men's clothing.
Right.
I have a short haircut.
I'm bending some rules. I'm okay with you asking where.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I look like when I leave the house. I typically have a men's haircut.
Yeah.
It's kind of long right now, but I have, you know what I mean? I have a men's haircut. I wear men's clothing.
I've seen myself before.
Yeah. I'm allowed.
Betty, you get that a lot?
Right.
Are you a
I do,
girl
yeah.
or guy? Okay.
I
Are
have
you a man?
I have a big voice and a big presence, which is usually associated with
Right.
men in their
Correct.
lives.
Correct.
Like women are usually more quiet and more subdued than I am. So why wouldn't you jump to that conclusion if your only experience of men and women have been
Right.
these stereotypes?
Woman is more
Like,
demure.
right.
Right.
Why would I ever be offended by
What if
that?
Gloria Steinem ever gets that question? Are you a girl?
Yeah. So I'm sure there is more of those kind of questions for my kids in the future. Like as middle school and high school and kids become more and more cruel, I'm sure there's more of that
Yeah.
in their future.
And do you face any kind of like interracial questions of like?
No, because the part of Scottsdale that we live in, there are a lot of Indian families.
Okay.
So the kid's dad is from India. And so there are a lot of Indian immigrant families in the area that we live in. So we live amongst the Jews and the Indians, really.
But I mean, but there's no one seeing the two of you without him and being like, "Where'd the Indian kids?"
No, because the kids are pretty mixed. So
I'm
they
sure
can
Annette
kind of
meant that
pass
it's
for
me to ask that in a much nicer
Yeah,
way
no,
than I
that's
did.
that's
Yeah.
totally
I feel
okay.
like they're
That's
fair
totally okay.
complected because they're not.
Yeah,
They're not
the oldest has
dark.
kind of fair skin.
Yeah.
The youngest is
'Cause
a little
they're-
more
you're-
dark skinned,
you're-
but
you're-
Sharon's fairly dark skinned. So when you see the four of us together, like I'm the snowflake for sure.
Right.
I need to tan more. Yeah, when you see the kids with Sharon, you absolutely do not ever question that they're her kids.
Hers.
Like that's never a thing. It's not like I have a friend whose husband is African American, and so she's very, very white. So her kids do look kind of like just visually out of place next to her. It's nothing like that with us.
Yeah, and you see that in different combinations all the time.
Mhm.
Where I remember one time, one of the first times I was in the Upper West Side of New York, and I was watching all these people with strollers like heading toward Central Park, and I was like, "Wow, it's a lot of mixed race babies." And my friend was like,
That's
"No, that's
nannies."
nannies."
Right, yeah.
There's not a mother and child in that crowd.
Right.
That's pretty funny.
But you had to, I had to look at it and be like, multicultural parade is clearly on display. And somebody's like,
No.
Yeah.
no, all the babies are white. You're on the wrong track. So, all right. So then the follow-up question would be about empathy and like when did you realize like what that was and what.
I think a lot of it has to do with my line of work because for me to look at anyone and say, "Oh, I can completely sympathize." No, I can't.
Yeah.
I absolutely cannot sympathize with what they're going through, not even a little bit.
And
Because-
knowing the difference between
and knowing the
sympathy
difference
and empathy.
because
right?
it's that anyone who says like I completely can sympathize with you there.
Nope.
No, you can't, because I don't have children. I don't have disabled children. Let's go back to I don't have children. And so for me to look at a family and say, I get it, I totally get it, I understand, I absolutely understand. No, I don't. I can empathize with what you're saying, and I'm hearing you, and, kind of going at it from that standpoint. So I
Yeah.
think that was a real eye-opener, because when I was 19, 20, when I first started doing direct care, working with folks with developmental disabilities, I decided that I would say that to a family, to a mom.
Oh,
and
I
said,
know exactly what you're
I
going
know
through.
exactly what you're going through, and gosh, it must be really hard. And she said, "Well, I thought you knew exactly what I was going through."
Good for her.
God damn. Yeah. I mean, at 19, I was like, "Ah!" and I sat there, and she then went to a cat teachable moment, right? I mean, then sat down. It wasn't that she was being mean; she was trying to teach me, and then she just said, "You can't know what I'm going through," and explained it.
Yeah.
So, and it was at that point I just really switched how I looked at things. So,
Yeah.
That would. Did I answer that right?
Yeah. Katricia?
I have this entire stuff.
I think that would end the boy-girl questions immediately if you change your name to Katricia.
Well, and you know what? It will.
Because most would be like, huh?
Just happened.
In my life plan, at some point when my hair has finally turned gray and I kind of look of a certain age,
You're gonna go all Betty Buckley with it?
It's gonna have to evolve from Kat to Catherine, my given name. And that will become a thing, and then that will, that
let's
will
just
erase
jump right to
all.
Kathleen because she's taller.
But my name's not Kathleen.
I know, but I
dumbass.
love that name.
But I want you to have a
Whenever I
gravelier
say
voice.
Kathleen, I just imagine a very tall woman, possibly.
but
Wouldn't that be nice if I
Right,
was
Kathleen
tall?
Turner.
Right.
Again, tall.
But to
Or
speak
maybe
to,
you just go to
Damn
Lauren.
it, Kathleen.
Lauren,
Kathleen,
Kathleen.
exactly.
Tip it. Tip it.
Tip it.
listen, Brenda.
Oh, Brenda and Robin. We miss them.
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
Wine. Dip it. All right.
To speak to the empathy question.
So, Patricia, yes, please.
I have an entire stump speech that I go off about from time to time about how reading and empathy are tied together. Because when you read, especially first-person fiction, you have that insight into the thoughts and experiences and feelings of another person. Right? So if I read a story that's all about I did this and I felt that, and whatever it is. I'm reading one right now called Making Bombs for Hitler, which is
a light musical comedy.
It's a light musical comedy.
Springtime.
But it's first-person World War II fiction about a young Ukrainian girl who was kidnapped from her home and sent to the Nazi work camps, and it's all very first person, right? So it describes how cold she is and how scared she is and how hungry she is and how all of these things are happening to her. So as you read the story and as you immerse yourself into a story like that, any kind of a first person story, be it nonfiction or fiction, you start to develop that empathy. You start to develop that. Yeah. What does this feel like? Because it's being described to you. Like that empathy is being just handed to you, in imagining and feeling and understanding the experience of another person. So I've been an avid reader since probably before I could walk. Like I went to kindergarten as a reader. Like I could read books independently before most kids knew their alphabet. So I think that's a large part of the reason that empathy comes so easily to me, because it's been trained and ingrained in me from forever.
Yeah, and you go into another world, another set of experiences.
Another person's experience and another person's thoughts and feelings and all of those things. So I really do believe that reading helps teach empathy.
It's the keys to any kingdom, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. And adults who read tend to be more compassionate, understanding, logically thinking, empathetic people. There it is. Buddy Early.
I just found my answer.
Top that.
What's the question?
No, I mean, when did you
He doesn't have feelings.
That's true.
I kind of feel like that's my answer, but I want to know.
Yeah, just when did
his answer's going to be tomorrow?
You realize what empathy was and how to utilize it, how to.
I do often joke with people about how I have no feelings, and it's true.
We know.
I mean, it's not just a joke. And my close friends know that, I don't.
We've talked about this before.
We have talked about this, and I know it. Sometimes I wear it as a badge of honor, and sometimes I'm like, why am I like that? Why don't I cry?
Well, Sheldon.
Anyway.
Unless it has to do with an animal.
But I have regarding empathy.
Should I even make a jingle about it? I can sing something to you.
No feelings.
Oh,
no feelings.
Bitter.
She's got no
bitter.
feelings.
Hey, it's Adobe. But I have an interesting outlook on empathy, because I do have a background as a writer and actor. And so I have this detached sense of empathy. That it's sort of just an intellectual.
Well, it's not sympathy.
thing.
You don't have to feel it with them, but
right.
you understand.
It's an understanding, not a sympathy.
Right.
It's like I want to know what makes people tick, what makes people react the way they do. I want to be inside their head, and I want to experience it, but not because I want. God, I sound like a horrible person, but it's not because I want to have sympathy. It's just a natural curiosity.
Right. What does that feel
of
like?
The world, and like, ooh, I want to walk in that person's shoes, maybe, and just kind of understand people's feelings. I can understand feelings. I just don't like to have them. Sure. So it's a whole
well,
detached
and how are you
going to
get anyone to react through your acting if you can't?
Yeah, I mean,
if you can't kind of come to
because
that
it's the
place.
British style of acting.
It's your.
I just channel Helen Mirren as everything.
Yeah.
You don't know. No, just.
No, I'm saying when you're trying to figure
Sir Laurence
it out,
Olivier said to Dustin, the famous story of what he said to Dustin Hoffman, who stayed up for like 36 hours for Marathon Man. He's like, try acting. That's sort of my thing. Which I mean,
remember hearing that. Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's just like I said, it's just a detachment.
But you
that I
definitely need
have.
the empathy to be any kind of an actor.
Yeah.
or
Right.
improv, because you have to buy into
the
that
emotion,
minute, the
that
emotion
minute,
of
that emotion, that whatever's happening. Oh, sure. But you can maybe it's just that I can step out of it like that.
Right.
So that's that's maybe my biggest flaw.
Oh, I have a
I'm
list
okay.
of flaws.
Well, I said my biggest.
I didn't know we were going to rank them in such a
biggest
short amount of
flaw.
time.
Well, I didn't bring that notebook.
I care too
My
much.
biggest.
Oh, I have it on. I actually have it online. It's too big to carry around.
I can't watch The Voice because I have perfect pitch. It's really a shame.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It's exactly why I can't go to the gym.
Yeah.
I don't want to show everybody else up.
You don't want to make people feel bad.
If I lift that thing over there, they'll all feel bad because they didn't lift
Gosh,
it.
it's so
Yeah,
awful.
exactly.
I mean, it was a donut, but they're still going to feel bad that they didn't
I don't lift it
I
at home.
already succeeded at that.
Yeah.
I love
So long
donuts.
ago, but I succeeded at that. I don't need to do it again.
How late is
Yeah.
Taco Bell open?
Yeah.
They
They have
depends on
black
what day of the
beans
week.
now. It's just the worst.
Shut
news.
up.
Could be midnight, could be 1, could be 2. Depends on the week of the night of the week.
Open late. They're very
Yeah,
big.
Open late.
I'm gonna Google.
Go to
it 'cause
Vegas, 24 hours.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
The Vegas ones are open
Yeah.
later.
I'm not driving to Vegas for Taco
You
Bell.
don't need to.
Open later, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to pass one open Taco Bell between here and Vegas.
I feel that could happen.
Just one.
Yeah,
I'm
it's just
hoping
the one.
between here and home.
The one in Wickenburg, I think, is 24 hours.
Usually they're till like 2 o'clock in the
Because
morning.
it's those
or
people
something.
driving back and forth to Vegas.
Vegas,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
That's exactly right.
Very good.
I got
That's
the one-armed
exactly
bandit
right.
fever.
That's always been my
I like
directions to Vegas. Just go out Grand to Wickenburg and hang a
Wickenburg
right.
and go.
Yeah.
Right.
When
now they
you
got
see
that
the
fucking
lights,
that right
park your
turn
car.
there.
the new turnstile
Oh.
bullshit they've got now, where you
Yeah.
avoid the city and you go around it. Have
At
you?
Wickenburg? No, I haven't been
How
in a
long's-
car on the way to Vegas since before we went. We were still going over the dam the last time I went to Vegas.
Dam.
The overpass wasn't built yet, so it's
Oh no.
it's
I'm not
5-6
talking about.
years.
I'm not talking about the dam.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in the city of Wickenburg.
No, there was no roundabout.
Because-
You literally went to the light in Wickenburg and turned
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you even get that, you literally cross the bridge. There's a river.
Yeah.
You pass the McDonald's and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then you immediately turn to the right, and they bypass the whole city. You go around it, and because all the tractor trailers and everything now has to go
Where's
that
the
way.
Well,
fun
that's
in
no
that?
fun.
Well,
It's
yeah,
all
I
different.
mean, that's gonna.
You bypass the city.
Fucks up my directions.
They're gonna need jobs like coal miners. All right, so go ahead. Your answer besides Taco Bell.
I think that was.
I don't really know that I have an answer. The thing I followed up with what Kat said was, she said people who read are more empathetic. Adults who read are more understanding. I don't read. I read
That
what
explains everything.
I read what I have to, but I don't know. I actually don't know that I can. I don't know that I can answer that question. But then again, I'm not an introspective person as much as everybody else usually tells me how I am about things, but I don't sit and dwell or think about them. So I don't know when the fuck I figured out what empathy was. I mean, I do care about other people, and I get emotional, and I get that, but I don't know
At
if
what-
I ever thought about it.
Can you think of like the first point where you thought about what it was like in their shoes? Right? Like that gosh.
I can see
This
why
is his struggle,
doing
and this
it
is
right.
where he's coming from, and this is I feel like this is
I haven't
when
gotten there
he's
yet.
feeling-
No,
I was gonna say, I can't-
That's
I
a fair
agree.
answer.
I think you guys are very similar.
I think, yeah.
with
I don't
a
know that
lot
I've
of
gotten there
that.
yet.
Read more books.
I don't.
But
I don't
I-
know that you
and-
haven't,
and
but
I-
you're far more of a pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just kind of
Right, that's
figure it out and what the hell's wrong
I
with
see
it.
you as more of a I figured it out. Why can't you? Kind
Correct.
Right, and no, that is very much me, and it's my mother's. I think it's my
Yeah.
mother's father that gives me that, because he was very much that way. Though he wanted an explanation, and he was all about understanding, and I'll listen to your point of view. But then at the end of the day, it was, like, the hell can't you just get off your ass and go do it? Like,
Right.
get up and go do X, Y, Z. And that's kind of how I've always been. And I guess probably similar to you, it comes off maybe as non-sympathetic or not caring. I am caring. I want you to get up and do it. I don't want you to sit around and maybe that is it. Like, I get frustrated with people who can't
Or
do
won't.
things or won't do things.
I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think you can be empathetic and also be frustrated by people that are helpless for no reason.
Oh,
like
right,
I also cannot abide by people that can't do for themselves. Sharon sent me a link this week that was just a web form to sign a kid up for something, and I'm thinking the entire time, I hope she's gone to bed by now, I'm thinking the entire fucking time that I'm doing it, you have a smartphone and plenty of time in your day. Why the fuck aren't you doing this?
Most of this autofills.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
Sharon's on the phone. Hang on.
Caller, are you there? Caller?
Yeah, but you know, and I don't mean to throw her
Well
under the
played.
bus, but anytime I'm like,
Sure.
well, like, why am I doing this for you, for anybody? I don't think that expecting people to do for themselves is related to
Non-empathetic, right,
empathy.
right,
I don't think that those are related things.
Maybe I'm wrong in what I'm saying, but I just don't feel that maybe. Again, I sympathize with people. I feel bad for certain people or for certain things, but I guess I'm a little more. I'm not a softie. This one and Ernie will cry at the drop of a fucking hat for something.
Oh, and I'm emotional.
And because of menopause, I'm all over like a fucking. I don't care those poor bears with Charmin bathroom tissue come on and somebody wipes the wrong way and I'm crying. Other than that, I don't have much.
Oh my god, I almost welled up because I thought you were talking about the bears that are hungry.
The difference of sympathy and empathy are so important. You're not sympathizing with someone because you don't feel what they're feeling.
Right.
You empathize. Like I get where you're coming from.
Right.
Like I've also lost a pet, but I didn't lose that pet, and that pet wasn't walking me every day I had my eyesight. That's the difference between sympathy and empathy.
I was going to say,
you're not feeling the exact sympathy is if we were feeling the exact same thing. Like
I've been in the same shoes that you'd been through.
Right. Right. But
and I don't feel like that I have that with many people.
No, and very few do. Sympathy's a really hard thing to muster because it has to be like we both lost the same parent. You know what I mean? Like
right.
It's got to be.
That's why it's so difficult when you like sympathy cards. And
right, because you're not
like,
sympathetic.
Right.
And I'm horrible with those things.
Yeah.
I don't feel I don't do that.
In the card, sympathy really means pity.
Yeah,
like let's be real. When you said
I
somebody
feel
is
really
sympathy
sorry
card,
for
I
you.
feel bad
And
for
that's
you.
what- and I've always-
that's pity. That's not sympathy.
I've always admitted to people, I have said this for a long time, and maybe this is more of what you're getting at. I've always known I'm not the go-to guy when you're feeling down and I need to make you feel better.
Right.
Other than me making a crazy voice or doing something funny, that's all you're getting.
Right.
I'm not the
Wait,
person.
but that's on demand. Just to be clear, that's on demand.
That's a button.
That's
I
awesome.
can call you
Yeah.
and say, Clayton, I'm feeling down.
Elmo.
Do some impressions, and you just
Elmo.
be into it.
What's wrong, cat? The fuck is your problem?
That's
And
good
then
to
it'll buy
know.
you like
That's-
5 minutes while they
gotta
put down
tell
the
you.
razor. So you're done.
That's good
I
to
gotta
know.
tell you, 'cause that's fantastic.
That's good information to have.
It is. It is. You could make money off that.
Sure, we'll get it right on
I'm
that.
just saying.
Mr. Perkins, when did you become an empathetic soul?
Well,
Tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. Any minute now.
I'm gonna say that your mother has something to do with this.
No, but it does have to do with loss a lot of times.
but I'm wrong.
And but no, there's two different things. Somebody misunderstanding with sympathy. Two things. Somebody misunderstanding sympathy really hit me kind of hard. But I had a friend in the 90s whose father died and was having a very rough time and just couldn't find someone to talk to. And we were acquaintances at this particular period. Like we knew each other, but she was just struggling. And I was like, I've lost my father. We had a conversation about loss and grief and stuff like that. Not that I had any idea. Like I couldn't sympathize. I don't know her relationship. She may have hated him. She may have loved him. There may have been things she didn't say. I don't know, but I can at least I can talk you through what this might feel like, what some stages might be in this journey. And we ended up becoming close friends over that because people were just looking at her funny, like no one else had experienced the loss of a father and they didn't know what to say or how to have the conversation. And she was getting like blank stares or just sobbing. And it's like, it wasn't your father. Why are you crying so hard? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And that was really when I understood, like, it's just a similar path.
Sure.
The loss of something.
And you can sympathize with the situation.
Yeah, with the situation, but it's
not the
person.
Mm-hmm.
And then when my mother died, and I was having a really hard day, and a friend of mine actually compared the death of a cat to my mother's death, and I'm like, we're going to have to explain sympathy to you.
Yeah.
Because your relationship with your cat and my relationship to my mother are not this. You're not feeling what I'm feeling.
Dissimilar.
You may be feeling hurt. You may be experiencing loss. It was a cat. That was my mom. Let's work on this and get back
Settle
together.
down, Penelope.
When I dig you up from where I buried you, we'll talk again.
Sure.
So there's that disconnect that that you have to, and those times where I'm around grief all the time now, like 36 hours a week or more. I am around grief, and I have to be. I get what you're going through. I get how hard this is because I've watched so many people go through it. I've never been in this situation. I've never been in the deathbed of the hospital. I've never made choices like this about pulling plugs. but I can empathize with where you're coming from because I've seen it enough. And there's no, I know that to say there's no right answer. I know what I can say to make you feel a little bit better from one of the authorities that you may think is involved. I'm not the authority in any way, but you may look at me, you know what I mean? So that really helps when you have to say to someone that you're making a difficult choice, you're in a tough situation, you're stuck with me in the room. I gotta get you through the next minute. Like, because we're all gonna live, like, you know what I mean?
But if you think about,
and that's where the empathy
like, as
really
far as going
comes
along
in
with our fields.
Yeah.
And the difference that's kind of that go back to.
Yeah.
Kind of thing where, and even hospitality. You know, going when you've been in there, that sometimes that's where you're listening or those empathy.
Oh, and that's where the waitress and me can work it out. Like, okay, so the problem's with your burger. Let's work that out.
Fix this shit.
Yeah.
Your problem's not with the whole picture. It's just you don't like
Just
this burger.
that.
We can fix this burger.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just fix the one thing you're dwelling on, and if that makes it all go away, then that'll make it all go away.
Right.
Then we can all walk away happy.
Just put pickles on it and call it a day.
Or go to Taco Bell.
I love Taco.
And get those black beans with rice.
There you have it.
Eating feelings is a legitimate thing to do.
There you go.
It's fair.
Proud sponsor of Eating Feelings.
Oh, I can sympathize with that. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
My gosh, look what you've done.
That would be a sympathy thing.
You've wasted the better part of a Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning, depending on where you're listening.
Congratulations.
Enjoying you with
and
us.
happy birthday, Nero.
Yes,
Oh,
happy birthday, Nero.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
I barely knew you were getting older.
That list is handy.
Yeah.
Look at Al. Very handy with his
On top
list.
of it, right on top of that, Rose.
And Al's older, so he can empathize with you getting older.
Getting older.
As all of us
been
can.
there, so he's sympathizing.
That comes up more and more whether you want it to or not.
Oh my gosh.
Watching
Well,
these 30-year-old queens hit
once
40.
again, thank everybody. As we wrap up tonight's show, let's leave you with a parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America.